Is aimed at accommodating rising demand for data centers, but the PSC staff report says Georgia Power's demand forecast may be overly optimistic, posing a risk that the company will build more capacity than is actually needed. So the staff recommends only a partial expansion with strict conditions on high-cost projects, despite objections from the power company. The December 19th commission vote will include 2 outgoing commissioners who lost re-election bids due in part to consumer frustration with rising utility rates. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
And our team coverage of the top story continues now as we are talking about your money. Cool weather moving in, and one private nonprofit says resources for those who need help with their heating bills this winter, it might be delayed.
The process should be starting in full force soon, but the Georgia Community Action Agencies are facing a slow recovery in receiving funding following the government shutdown.
We're just doing the best we can. We're just kind of asking that, our communities are patient with us and that each respective community reach out to the local community action agency.
Executive Director Consuelo Thompson says the funding will be there to help lower-income Georgians pay the bills, but the process for getting the money to those in need will require patience and understanding this year. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
All right, so clouds are expected to move in later on this afternoon, then rain tomorrow. But big changes are on the way, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast coming up at 12:05. Home values here in Metro Atlanta are way down. New analysis from Zillow today shows that more than half of homes in the U.S. have lost value over the past year, the largest share since 2012. Roy O'Neill says here in Metro Atlanta, it's even worse.
In Atlanta, we're seeing that more than 70% of homes have actually decreased in value over the past year.
He says the higher prices and higher mortgage rates are keeping buyers away. Florida being hit the hardest overall. He says it's a good time for home buyers, though, as final selling prices are actually on average 1.5% below the asking price. Well, both the White House and President Zelensky are reporting progress after the weekend peace talks in Geneva. The president Trump's plan calls for Ukraine to give up land, something that Zelensky says is the main problem. White House correspondent Nancy Cordes says President Trump was critical of Ukraine's, saying on social media over the weekend that they have shown zero gratitude.
The question is, if Vladimir Zelensky comes here to Washington, D.C. and meets with the president again, as we are hearing could happen, can Zelensky get the president back on his side again? And will that matter when the peace plan that they are currently working off of appears to be favoring, at least right now, the Russian position?
All right, so check back for updates on that story. It's 12:03, and I've been telling you about this year's flu season possibly being very bad due to a new strain that's circulating. And new today, this new subvariant is sweeping across Asia now. Dr. Alok Patel says,
with subclade K now being identified in Japan, Canada, and the UK, it's still unclear about what this might actually do to the U.S.
So with holiday travel here, doctors are urging you to stay home if you are sick. Anti-smoking advocates are concerned about a new Hollywood trend. The stars are lighting it up again. Nearly half of movies that premiered last year included scenes with cigarettes, cigars, or other tobacco products. And that was up about 10% from 2023, according to the public health nonprofit called Truth Initiative. The trend worries anti-smoking advocates who fear a reversal of the years-long decline in U.S. smoking rates. A playpen sold on Amazon's under recall today because it could be a suffocation hazard for infants. The Consumer Product Safety Commission saying Anne Queen's P700 play yard was made in China and sold online for about $100. It comes with a black mesh panel along with white fabric top rails decorated with bear faces and paws. So far, no injuries have been reported, but owners are urged to disassemble that playpen immediately. And holiday shopping is getting underway right now, and all told, consumers are expected to spend more than $1 trillion this year. That would be the first time that's happened. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 190 at 46,435. So the Dow is up almost 0.5%. NASDAQ's up more than 2%. And the S&P's in positive territory, up more than a full percent here on your lunch hour. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams, how are we doing on the roads?
Unfortunately, not too good right now, Sabrina, especially if you're trying to head north between DeKalb County and Duluth on I-85. Still dealing with that debris cleanup. Only a right lane or two open. 85 northbound, Highway 316, jammed jammed up from Pleasantdale Road. Take Buford Highway or Peachtree Boulevard as alternates there. In DeKalb County, just found a right lane crash, 20 westbound, Panola Road, exit 71, slowing you out of Lithonia. You also got the eastbound construction, I-20 east at Panola Road. That as well as in a left lane, so really slow both ways between the east side perimeter and the mall at Stonecrest. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
It's time now for Atlanta Radio's only 5-day forecast, sponsored by Shoemate, the official plumber of Atlanta. Here's WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards.
Staying warm and dry today as the clouds roll in. High 72, lows tonight in the mid-50s to low 60s. A round of heavy rain showers will come through early tomorrow morning. Then watching for a line of stronger thunderstorms to move through the metro region tomorrow afternoon with a high of 73. Colder air moving in behind the rain on Wednesday, a high of 65, but temperatures dropping through the course of the afternoon, all the way down into the mid-30s for Thursday morning. Staying chilly for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday afternoons with highs in the upper 40s to low 50s.
68 degrees here in Midtown Atlanta. We'll have more news at 12:30, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the United States. I hope you had a great weekend. The phone number 877-973-7425. I got to begin out of the gate trying to synthesize and analyze this Ukraine situation for you. What the heck is going on? If you hadn't been paying attention, Marco Rubio told a group of senators behind the scenes in a closed-door meeting that he did not like the plan and was not part of the plan, and implied very strongly to them that it was a Russian plan. We know from Bloomberg News that this Ukraine plan is actually a plan that was put forward without a lot of input from anyone in the White House. It was Steve Witkoff sat down with his Russian counterpart, and they did it. And Jennifer Griffin at Fox News and several other reporters have now come out and said that it had the backing of J.D. Vance. And it was the Vance team that was pushing this plan. And now there is an effort among U.S. senators on the Republican side and Republicans in the House, as well as Europeans, to sabotage the president's plan. Things look to be in disarray. And while all of this is happening now, President Xi of China cold called Donald Trump to talk to him about the Taiwanese and how they want to reconstruct and reunite China and Taiwan together. So what is going on here? I want to propose to you something, and just bear with me here, because I can tell you what's happening. I actually have insight into this from a lot of conversations with people in Washington, across the board, and I actually can explain this to you. And when you hear me explain it, you're not going to be able to unsee it happening. And I want you to know that they deny it publicly, and they have to. They vigorously deny what I'm about to tell you. But privately, not only do they acknowledge it, but all of the intellectuals that they talk to have pushed them on this idea. So again, I'm going to tell you something, and up front, I want you to know that they will vigorously deny it. They will tell you that I am lying to you and that I'm wrong. But I not only know that I'm right, I've talked enough behind the scenes to know that I'm right, to have been told that I'm right, and to understand why they have to vigorously deny it. So let me tell you what the thinking actually is in the dominant part of Trump world. If you were a nation in decline, could you tell your voters that the nation was in decline? How many of you believe the nation is in decline? Some portion of you do, but most of you don't. what if the leaders in Washington, D.C. believe the nation's in decline? They couldn't campaign on it. Hey, we've got to manage our decline. We're in decline. They can't campaign on that. This is not America leading the world. But they can call it America first, and they can say we're putting our interests ahead of everybody else's interests. See, the growing prevailing consensus among a large segment of the president's advisors, particularly those tied to J.D. Vance, is that we are a nation in decline. We have $39 trillion in debt. There seems to be no way to get out of our debt. Inflation isn't tamed. Congress will not make the hard choices. The American people would vote them out if they made the hard choices. So you can't say we're a nation in decline. You say we're America first, and you manage the decline without acknowledging you believe we're declining. And the thinking, the thought process, the ideas and beliefs behind the scenes within that segment of the Trump administration. And by the way, there's a real divide. Marco Rubio is not in this camp. Hence his willingness to try to sabotage the Ukraine deal. But among a lot of the younger guys who are deeply influential within MAGA, they believe we're a nation in decline. They don't believe they can say it. And what they point to is the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland after the War of 1812, as the British Empire headed into the 19th century, astride the world, and began at the outer edges of it to be crumbling. The wars that Britain had fought to acquire its empire were very costly. The wars it fought to maintain the empire were more costly. And Britain in the 1800s was becoming a British empire that was financially unsound and insolvent, but no one could admit it because the sun never set on the British Empire, and they were all very proud of it. So the politicians of the day, the foreign policy leaders in particular, had to find a way to manage the decline of the British Empire without acknowledging it, and to show the British Empire was leading at a time it was allowing others to rise because it could not contain them. And the British Empire went from being a globally dominant hegemon to a multilateral, near tripartite system where there were other powerful players. And what did the British do to maintain their empire as long as they could, to maintain their strength as long as they could? They started playing themselves off of other nations. They would cut a deal with France for a little while, and then they'd betray the French and cut a deal with the Germans, and they'd betray the Germans and cut a deal with the Russians, and then they go back to the French. And around the world, the British would bounce back and forth between alliances, every alliance determined to prop up a key portion of the British Empire, and the British sphere of influence in that area, they would dominate. And history judges it as a success, by the way. History thinks the British played a bad hand as well as they could. That thinking has infested part of Trump world. And what they see is a world where China is on the rise, Russia is hungry for more, the Europeans, the Southeast Asians and the like, they're incompetent and broke. So if we divide the world between Russia, China, and the United States, and we take our Western Hemisphere back, Russia can have its sphere of influence in Europe. China can have its sphere of influence down in Africa. And you say, wait. What about the Russian-Chinese alliance? Well, the thinking within the sphere of the White House, and I think they're right on this, is that the Russians and Chinese are only allies by convenience. The Russians and Chinese actually have a multi-hundred-year history of hating each other's guts, so it's not actually a deep alliance. It's just alliance for convenience. In fact, Xi Jinping of China called Donald Trump today to express his regard for Donald Trump helping settle the Ukraine matter. And please, oh please, leave us Taiwan, which the president wants to do, in exchange for them getting out of the Western Hemisphere. That's where all of this heads. It's why Ukraine is intrinsically tied to what's happening in Venezuela, where we have amassed an amount of our flotilla, a major battle group This is from Fox News.
Should President Trump order strikes against the Maduro regime, there's plenty of firepower in the Caribbean to do it, with about 30% of all deployed American warships, including the aircraft carrier Gerald R. Ford, now on station. There are over 200 Tomahawk cruise missiles in theater aboard destroyers and U.S. Marines aboard the USS Iwo Jima and other amphibs in the Ready Group. Now, ahead of Thanksgiving, the U.S. military's top officer, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Raisin Kane, arrived in Puerto Rico yesterday to meet the forces who are part of Operation Southern Spear. So with General Kane in the region, we'll have to see if Secretary Hegseth follows suit ahead of Thanksgiving. And one thing officials have said is some of this buildup in the Caribbean goes beyond the Maduro regime. It's about getting Russia, China, and Iran out of the Western Hemisphere, guys.
Yes, a little more on this. A little more on this.
Good afternoon, John.
Of course, the
FAA leaks in the press about covert operations inside Venezuela and potentially dropping leaflets over Caracas. This all appears to be an effort by the Trump administration to enter into some kind of psychological operations and psyops against the Maduro regime. Some lawmakers think this goes even bigger. This is about getting Russia and China out of the Western Hemisphere.
We ought to be making sure that our interests are respected in our own hemisphere. That
This is Eric Schmidt from Missouri.
includes having aircraft carriers in our own hemisphere. It also means taking out narco-terrorists who are finding new ways to poison Americans.
John, today is Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro's birthday. Friday, he celebrated by attending a rally of college students, attendance likely mandatory, in defiance of the buildup of U.S. forces in the Caribbean, where now about 30% of all deployed warships are on station, ready to strike the Maduro regime should they be ordered.
30% of all U.S. warships now in the Western Hemisphere, no longer in the Eastern Hemisphere. Convenient, isn't it? We're watching a realignment of the American world order, where dominant forces within the Trump administration no longer believe there is an American-led world order, and they call it America First, and what they actually mean is that our American-led world order is in decline, led by our financial decline, and we have to reprioritize. You can like that or not, this is shaping the thinking in the administration. And what we know now is that Marco Rubio disagrees with that vision and actually believes the United States has it within itself to continue to lead a world order, and that leading the economic advantages that would actually cost us greatly. I share his view. We retreat from leading the world. You think we can't afford it. You have the luxury of that belief because you don't appreciate the advantages we get by leading the world order. Our ability to trade on the world stage cheaper than any other nation, our ability to have interest rates and inflation less than anywhere else in the world, all of those things because we lead the world, and giving that up will actually be costly. Rubio, behind the scenes, I'm told, working to sabotage this Ukraine plan, but this Ukraine plan has everything to do with getting the Russians and the Chinese out of the United States, essentially telling Vladimir Putin, we'll give you land you did not conquer if you stop helping Venezuela. And by the way, when Venezuela falls, that means Cuba falls, because Venezuela is the last country seriously propping up the Cubans. Russia and China have cut back their aid. It solidifies a Western Hemisphere for the United States at the expense of the rest of the world. That's what's happening. That's it. It is this belief that they cannot say it, they cannot admit it, and they must vociferously deny it, that we're a nation in decline. But privately, they view us as where the British were in the 19th century, with their empire beginning to show signs of economic, financial, and geopolitical stress and strain that could not be maintained. And the British moved to a mitigation strategy. That appears to be where this is headed. That's the prevailing wisdom within the Trump administration. That's what's going into what we see on the world stage. That is why Marco Rubio is publicly being supportive of this Ukraine plan, privately trying to sabotage it. And it has also got the European leadership working to sabotage it. Here's what we know on this Ukraine plan. The president was caught off guard, did not know it was being negotiated, was presented with it and gave his blessing to it without having explained to him the full implications of what we would be agreeing to. And if you want the final perspective on why it's a bad idea, in fact, a number of conservative leaders, including Tony Perkins at the Family Research Center, have stood up to blast the idea. The the British military chief of staff said, if you put a snail on the border of Russia and Ukraine 2 years ago and had it march in a straight line into Ukraine, the snail will have made it further today into Ukraine than the Russians have. And he's right, by the way. That's actually a guaranteed certainty. If you don't believe me, you can get in your ChatGPT and ask it how fast a snail moves on average and plot it out on the Ukraine-Russian border, and you'll see. The snail made deeper inroads over the last few years than Russia has, and now we're committing to Russia that they can have thousands of square miles of Ukraine they haven't conquered in exchange for what? Well, for getting out of the Western Hemisphere. The problem is, as these people will soon realize, you can't trust the Russians because Vladimir Putin, he's an old Soviet KGB hand.
Have something to say? Hello. Call the show. 1-877-97-ERIC. That's 1-877-973-7425.
1221 Cool Day Carrier Traffic Center. Travel advisory continues between 285 and Duluth on 85 North. Debris cleanup. Only a few right lanes open at Highway 316. Use Buford Highway or Peachtree Boulevard as alternates. Left lane crash 20 westbound at Moreland Avenue, or right lane, I should say, 20 west at Panola Road, exit 71, and left lane construction eastbound in the same area. Traffic is brought to you by Blindster.com. Blindster's Black Friday sale is here. Save up to 50% now on all custom blinds, guaranteed to fit and priced lower than big box stores. Hurry, the sale ends soon. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Buying a new car? Need help fixing your current car? What's the safest car for a first-time buyer? The Car Guys have the answer. Join Shelley Winter and automotive expert Kevin Deutsch this and every Saturday at 12 for all your car needs. The Car Guys, presented by Butler Lexus of South Atlanta, Saturdays at noon on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
As we all start to ponder the things we're thankful for, how about sparing a thought for your faithful garage door? Protecting your car from the wind and rain, standing guard against hurricanes and pelican poop. If crazy Uncle Mick ruins yet another dinner being overly thankful to a bottle of cheap hooch, how about you thank the hard-working garage door who's always there for you? Drive in and drive out. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. We can help you show some love by keeping your garage door healthy and happy. Clean and lubricate the tracks and rollers, or repair some old damage that gets on your nerves. And your door will stay loyal for years to come. How do I know? Because I'm Mo. Call Mo Better Garage and we'll come over and treat him nicer than Uncle Mick.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
You can breathe easier in your home this fall with the professional air duct cleaning from Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Cleaner air means less dust, less congestion, and a healthier home for you and your family. Right now, when you mention WSB, you'll get $75 off your next air duct cleaning. Just use promo code AIR75 when you schedule online at ZeroResAtlanta.com. Zerorez, spell it backwards or forwards, it's the right way to clean.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-575-2798.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-2798. That's 800-575-2798.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
It's happening, guys. Your hair's thinning, the crown's disappearing, hair loss might have you feeling you've lost your identity. It's Mark Arum here. Thankfully, there's Advanced Hair Simple One-Day Treatment. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's your own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. I've seen Advanced Hair's incredible results with my own eyes. Get your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
You can be live on Eric's show by calling 877-97-ERIC. That's 877-973-7425.
It is kind of appropriate that Marjorie Taylor Greene has decided that she will retire on January 5th next year. She'll resign from Congress 2 days after her pension kicks in. Now, it's not a big pension. It's $10,000 a year. When she gets to age 65, it's standard for members of Congress. Ron DeSantis is in about the same situation. She put up with the nonsense that long. Might as well give her a little bit of something. By the way, this morning I wrote it was $10,000 a month, which was a typo in my mistake. It's $10,000 a year. But I also think it's actually deeply appropriate that Marjorie Taylor Greene is resigning on January 5th because it will be the 5th anniversary of Marjorie Taylor Greene convincing Georgians not to go vote in a special election on January 5th, 2021 that handed the United States Senate to the Democrats. Marjorie Taylor Greene was deeply, deeply influential in telling particularly people in her district that they should not go vote because it was going to be stolen because Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, hadn't called a special session to change laws that would have been enjoined by the federal courts because there's long-standing precedent in the middle of an election. You can't change the election rules. It would have been applied. It would have been messy. It wouldn't have worked. But she convinced people it would have been, and her district in particular saw the lowest rate of turnout from the general election to the special election. She, in her words, cost the Republicans the United States Senate. And now, on the anniversary of the day she cost the United States Republican Party the Senate, she will step aside. She's a bully. She can punch, but she doesn't like being punched back. Good riddance. Let me tell you about the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. It works great to rid noxious odors like those left behind by a near former member of Congress. You can get 3 of them and save $200 and get them for less than $200 at EdenPureDeals.com. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, E-R-I-C-K, the number 3. They make a great stocking stuffer. You can hold them in your hand. They're small. They're portable. You can plug it in with USB cords. You can plug it into the wall. It gets rid of dust. It gets rid of pollen. It gets rid of 99.9% of bacteria and viruses. And also, it wipes out every odor. It generates ozone, and ozone touches other ionized particles in the air called odors and wipes them out. No odor can stand up to it. It works well. I use it. I keep one in my travel bag. They're small and portable. I've used it in rental cars and elsewhere. EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is ERIC3, E-R-I-C-K-3 at EdenPureDeals.com. You can wipe out odors, smoke odors, litter box odors, pet odors, dirty diaper odors, cooking odors, you name it. It just works. EdenPureDeals.com. Get 3 of them, save $200, get them for less than $200.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 12:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Jim Ellis Automotive. Well, those who need help with energy bills this winter may not get it as soon as they thought. The Georgia Community Action Association saying the government shutdown put a pause on programs in place to help out this time of year.
We are working on it. It is going to happen, but there may be some delays as it relates to the payment reaching their account.
Executive Director Consuela Thompson says first priority will be helping seniors and those who are homebound. Your weather for today. Clouds roll in this afternoon, but it's going to stay warm. Afternoon highs around 72, but then rain moves in and big changes on the way. Have you checked your home's value recently? You might want to. New analysis from Zillow shows that over half of homes in the U.S. have lost value over the past 12 months. And in metro Atlanta, more than 70% of homes. Roy O'Neill.
Many people are turned off by the high prices. They're turned off by the higher mortgage rates. Also turned off in some places by higher insurance costs in many of these locations, too.
He says this means it is a buyer's market right now. Most homes now actually selling for 1.5% below asking price. Florida, California, seeing the biggest drop in value. This is new here at 12:30. The University of Georgia football player arrested over the weekend has been kicked off the team now. Coach Kirby Smart announcing today Nair Daniels has been dismissed. The offensive tackle was arrested on 13 charges, including 3 felonies after fleeing from police in Jackson County. Daniels' mother was also arrested. Daniels was a redshirt freshman who had appeared in only 3 games this season. Time magazine naming the University of Georgia among the best schools in the country when it comes to developing leaders.
The publication says its Best Colleges for Future Leaders list is based on the educational background of almost 5,000 influential leaders that it studied. UGA comes in number 47 overall, but 17th among public institutions. Georgia Tech's the only other state school to make the list, coming in at number 75. Harvard tops the list. As for UGA, Time specifically mentions the Terry College of Business and its programs to develop leaders, including one that mixes coursework with real-life experience. Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
As we take a look at the markets, we're in the green. The Dow's up almost 0.5%. NASDAQ's up almost 2.5%. And the S&P's up almost 1.5% here at 1232.
Hi, I'm Dylan, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As a customer service specialist, I love helping couples find their dream engagement ring. And guess what? I just got engaged, so it was fun to create one myself. First, my fiance tried on a bunch of ring styles and she was drawn to a classic diamond pave setting. Then we looked at different diamond shapes from pear to oval to cushion. She fell in love with the princess cut. At Shane Company, you can create a one-of-a-kind ring and get it in days, not weeks. Because a friend wants you to have a magical holiday proposal. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Have a stress-free Thanksgiving that's sure to impress? Hey, it's Mark Aram here for my friends at Publix. Just heat and serve a traditional feast that are going to leave your guests loving it. Includes a whole turkey, cooked, old-fashioned cornbread dressing, Yukon Gold mashed potatoes, cranberry orange relish, marshmallow delight, gravy. Serves 8 people, and the price for the meal, just $69.99. That's less than $10 per person. Amazing meal from my amazing friends at Publix.
I'm Channel 2's Lori Wilson.
I'm Fred Blankenship. Channel 2 Extra News this morning is the best place to be for breaking news.
So much is happening, and we're on it. Our reporters are the first to know in your community, bringing you fresh information, the best video.
We know you depend on us. It's why we're everywhere live to prepare you for the day ahead.
In the morning, see what's new.
Don't miss a day. Join us. Channel 2 Extra News this morning, 4:30 to 7.
It's my favorite time of year. I love spending time with family, enjoying delicious, nutritious food and bread. That's right, real bread, not that enriched stuff you see on the grocery shelves. This is Sue from Bread Beckers in Woodstock with Sue's Healthy Minute. My family and I were blown away from the health benefits of making real bread from freshly milled whole grains. After more than 30 years in business, we are more than a kitchen store. We are a real food store where you can get everything you need to make real bread for your family. Come to the Bread Beckers store in Woodstock this holiday season. We offer a complete line of grains, beans, sweeteners, and other whole foods, and check out our top-of-the-line kitchen equipment, including grain mills, pressure cookers, freeze dryers, and more. Our infused olive oils and vinegars are a huge hit. Our knowledgeable and friendly staff will help you find the perfect gift. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Alex Williams, how are we doing on the roads?
Starting to pick up the cones from the debris cleanup into Duluth. 85 northbound Highway 316, but still very slow from 285, so keep using Buford Highway or Peachtree Boulevard. And a crash in 2 left lanes on the south side perimeter. 285 eastbound, the outer loop at Moreland Avenue. Use I-20. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Becoming mostly cloudy today, staying dry, high 72. Rain showers arrive early tomorrow morning with lows in the low 60s.
We'll have more news at 1 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, conversationalists. It is Eric Erickson here. The phone number, 877-973-7425. One of the things I have had to learn over my years as a radio show, talk show host, you guys get used to me being on the radio. You forget the people I know and come into contact with, the conversations I have, the understanding I have about certain scenarios with stuff that is oftentimes publicly denied. And you get mad at me and you say, no, this isn't so because so-and-so publicly denied it. And you take their word for it. And then it turns out I was right. And I have over time had to settle for not really pointing out I was right about things because you don't like that either. The host has to have a level of humility. Can't point out when you're right because it makes the people who were wrong mad that you're rubbing their nose in it. There have been plenty of times I have been wrong. People love to rub my nose in it. But when I point out I've been right about substantive things, they're like, oh, move on. I just like to point out, for the last number of years, I have said that I am very certain a lot of the online horde that gets the right and the left whipped into a frenzy is foreign trolling exercise. Turns out I was right. Elon Musk on Twitter, and by the way, just so you know, I refuse to call it X. I think it's a stupid name for the platform. I think everyone knows it as Twitter. People still say they tweet, they retweet, they subtweet. Twitter was a good brand, and Elon Musk may be a genius at a lot of stuff, but I think his branding exercises is stupid. I think that he is a great engineer. I think Elon Musk is a great computer programmer. I think he clearly knows what he's doing to be the richest person on the planet, but he's also not very good at branding exercises. You've got a known brand called Twitter, and you change it to X on a whim. It was stupid. Nobody sub-X's. Nobody re-X's. People retweet. They subtweet. They quote tweet. Nobody quote X's. It was just a stupid branding. I refuse to go along with it, and I still call it Twitter because it's a useful name, and you know what I'm talking about, as opposed to X, which could be a letter of the alphabet. It could be an X-ray. It could be a social media site with a stupid name. I digress. He unveiled a new feature on Twitter, and you can now see accounts, where they are tweeting from, where they were started. Interestingly enough, CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, they're tweeting from the United States, but they downloaded the Twitter app in Turkey. Republicans Against Trump is an account with about 1 million followers. They're not inside the United States. A number of white supremacist accounts that have gone viral with segments of the right. Turns out they're in India, Pakistan, Indonesia, Nigeria. Now, what's actually happening here? There are a couple of things going on you should know about, and one of which is a very simple matter of economics. Accounts with blue check marks, which many of these have, you pay for your check mark, you get it. I earned mine for being a famous and influential person. Didn't have to pay. You can pay, get your blue check mark. You're verified, and now you can make money. And that's actually the easiest answer for a lot of this stuff. Is it turns out pitting Americans against Americans for sport makes people in Nigeria a lot of money. A lot of the accounts, Nigerian accounts, Indian accounts, Indonesian accounts, and these are monetized accounts. They're whipping people into a frenzy with viral stuff, and they turn out not to be American. And they're doing it not because they want to stir up cinnamon in the United States, but because that cinnamon already exists and they can profit off of it. You making $150, $200 a month on Twitter, that's chump change. In Nigeria, it's a lot of money. And so they're doing it. But it's not just that and there. There are some where it's clearly a motivation for discord in this country. You've got a lot of accounts that are pro-Palestinian accounts. In fact, one guy claimed to be on-the-ground eyewitness. He was quoted in the BBC. He was quoted, I think, in the New York Times. He was quoted on MSNBC, quoted all over the Western press for the horrors in Gaza that Israel was doing. Turns out he tweets from Ireland. Seriously. There is a pro-Palestinian account that was providing play-by-play action on the ground in Gaza. The guy wasn't even there. He was in Ireland the whole time. And yet his tweets would go viral on the left to demonize Israel. There are a lot of accounts from Turkey and Saudi Arabia and Egypt, a lot of pro-Palestinian accounts in Egypt and also Europe. There are a lot of white supremacist accounts in Eastern Europe that amplify Nick Fuentes, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and others. And they do want to sow discord on the right. They want to divide the right. By the way, you should know, this prior topic about how there are some within Vance World who believe America's in decline. They can't say it, but they got to start treating the world as if it's so. A lot of the loudest accounts over the years that have advanced similar theories and that have built up robust followings on the right, they happen to be Chinese-run accounts. In other words, a lot of the discord that we see online on social media has come from overseas, but that is not to absolve Americans who fell for it. The seeds of anti-Semitism were sown by accounts in Turkey and Egypt and Indonesia, India, Nigeria, but those seeds were watered by people like Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, and others. The anti-Semites abroad couldn't have gained traction in the United States without Americans buying into it. The white supremacist so-called Groyper accounts, the Groypers are followers of Nick Fuentes. Perhaps they could have gotten a lamer name, but that was the one they chose. And a lot of the voices who have amplified them are foreign voices. What's so interesting here, actually, is that Nick Fuentes supposedly has a large, massive following, and it appears a lot of that massive following, not all of it, but a lot of it is actually online voices from abroad. It's not actually Americans. That's not to say there aren't American young men who have given the following and the dominance embraced it, but that's kind of the funny thing here, is a lot of the people who have embraced these ideas were induced to do so by foreigners running social media accounts with multi-million person followings and claiming to be Americans, and they're not. What is that, the Ian Miles Chong or whatever guy? I can't remember his name. He posts all the time. He's pro-Donald Trump, and here's why I voted for Donald Trump. He lives in Malaysia. Now, I've known that one for a while, and I've told people that. People are like, you can't be sure. You don't know. No, I knew because he outed himself one time by accident, and sure enough, it is confirmed. He lives in Malaysia and is now doubling down, pretending it's not true when everyone knows it's true, and that's what the data says. It's just interesting to see so many of these people on the right who are Americans who have been induced to believe evil that was generated by foreign governments and foreigners designed to divide us. They knew what they were doing. They made a lot of money off of it. So if you don't know, you can monetize your Twitter accounts. My account, I've got a blue check marked account. I mean, I don't make a ton of money off of it. Although I will tell you, Elon Musk retweeted me in October, earned me like $1,000 on Twitter, and then it crashed back to about $100. But if I lived in Nigeria or India and I was getting $100 off of Twitter just by tweeting, that would actually be a pretty good living in parts of the third world. And that's what's happening. At the same time, as well, these people induced others to divide us. And there's no excuse for them. But also, there's no excuse for the number of Americans who actually are Americans who fell for the nonsense, who wanted to believe the nonsense, oftentimes lies. They wanted to believe in the hate. They wanted to believe in the anti-Semitism. They wanted to believe they were on the righteous side. And they believed. And they became anti-Semites because they saw online everyone else was, I might as well be too. Or they wanted to become a white supremacist. Everyone else online was, so I will be too. They were led into it and they embraced it. They were malcontented voices from abroad cashing in. And Americans fell for it and bought it. The foreigners planted the seeds, and the voices here at home watered the seeds. And now we all have to reap the harvest, unfortunately. There is breaking news happening right now I've got to get to. The judge in the James Comey case has dismissed the case. It's just happened. It is without prejudice, and that's a key term. Without prejudice means it can be refiled. But let me read to you the conclusion and the order. The appointment of Ms. Halligan as interim U.S. Attorney violated 28 U.S.C. 546 and the Appointments Clause of the U.S. Constitution. All actions flowing from Ms. Halligan's defective appointment, including securing and signing Mr. Comey's indictment, were unlawful exercises of executive power and are hereby set aside. The Attorney General's attempts to ratify Ms. Halligan's actions were ineffective and are set aside. Mr. Comey's motion to dismiss the indictment is granted. The indictment is dismissed without prejudice. The power to appoint an interim U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 546 during the current vacancy, lies with the District Court until a U.S. Attorney is nominated by the President and confirmed by the Senate. It is ordered. That is the breaking now news that James Comey's indictment has been dismissed. Now, interestingly enough, the judge did not dismiss the indictment based on the screw-up with the grand jury. And by the way, the Trump administration is lucky, actually. The Trump administration is lucky. Why is the Trump administration lucky the judge dismissed James Comey's indictment based on the appointment of the U.S. Attorney being invalid? Because had he invalidated the indictment based on the screw-up with the grand jury having signed off on an indictment they didn't see, he would have dismissed it with prejudice, meaning they wouldn't have been allowed to refile it. It was such a screw-up. But because he invalidated the appointment of the U.S. Attorney, all of what happened before the grand jury is moot. It's all about the U.S. Attorney should have never had the power to do what she did. Therefore, the case has got to be thrown out, and a new U.S. Attorney can revisit the matter. The judge is actually helping the Trump administration by allowing this to be dismissed without prejudice, given the screw-up before the grand jury. Had they just done the screw-up before the grand jury, it more likely than not would have been dismissed with prejudice, meaning it could not ever be refiled as a punishment for that screw-up. But by saying the U.S. Attorney was improperly placed into the role of U.S. Attorney, therefore all of her actions are rendered invalid, it allows the Trump administration a second bite of the apple. This is breaking news happening right now, the James Comey indictment being thrown out of court by a federal judge in Virginia. And I have told you to expect that to come. I told you that it was undoubtedly going to happen. It was very clear to me it was going to happen based on the judge's aggressive questioning of the interim U.S. Attorney, who he has decided was unlawfully named U.S. Attorney. So that throws everything out, and they can restart the process if they want to.
Honest.
Putting your trust in me to tell you what's going on.
Transparent.
I need you to know this from the bottom of my heart.
Giving you the information without the noise.
My job isn't to tell you what you want to hear, it's to tell you the truth.
It's the Eric Erickson Show.
1249 Coolray Carrier Traffic Center. Crash cleared 285 eastbound. The outer loop at Moreland Avenue, exit 53. Everything back open there. And 85 north recovering out of DeKalb and Gwinnett. All that debris cleanup is all gone at Highway 316. Traffic brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Learn more about their support of Common Threads and nutrition education at anthem.com/stream. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Blue Cross Blue Shield Healthcare Plan of Georgia, Inc. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This holiday could be 100 times brighter just by listening to 95.5 WSB.
Because we have 100 for the holidays.
Listen to 95.5 WSB all Thanksgiving Day. Every hour, 9 a.m. through 6 p.m. You could win a $100 Publix gift card.
Listen for the keyword each hour.
You'll have until the end of that hour to enter the keyword at WSBradio.com or on the WSB app. One lucky winner every hour gets a $100 Publix gift card.
It's 100 for the holidays.
From Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Your first chance to win is Thanksgiving morning at 9 a.m. on 95.5 WSB.
The Sizzle All the Way sale is happening right now at omahasteaks.com. You can get 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com, and you get an extra $35 off with promo code ERIC, yes, my name, E-R-I-C-K, at checkout. I've been giving Omaha Steaks gifts for a very long time. They make incredibly popular gifts for business colleagues, for family, for friends. Used to get it for my dad all the time. Business friends. Even now in radio, want to impress someone, I send them Omaha Steaks. You can too. omahasteaks.com. Everything is 50% off for the Sizzle All the Way sale, and you get an extra $35 off with promo code ERIC at checkout. See site for detail. Terms and conditions apply. omahasteaks.com. At checkout, you'll see the promo code box. Put in my name, Eric, E-R-I-C-K. You get an extra $35 off. Everything already 50% off site-wide. An incredible gift for the holiday season. The Sizzle All the Way sale. Take advantage of it at omahasteaks.com.
I want you to know that you are loved. You are loved personally and completely, more fully and deeply than you can understand or imagine. When your pain tries to tell you that you're not loved, let his pain remind you that you are. Jesus went through what he went through for you because he loves you. You are loved. This is Tom Gray, thanking Hardy Family Ford for their support.
We love you and we need you.
ThisStuffMatters.net.
I'm so excited to hear my son's band play tonight. They've been, be right back. They've been rehearsing, bathroom break. Overactive bladder can mean missing out on life's moments, navigating life around the nearest bathroom instead of the next experience. Medtronic therapies have treated nearly 500,000 people worldwide with bladder or bowel control problems. Let Medtronic show you what's possible. Visit medtronic.com/bladderhelp to learn how.
This is Monica Pearson for Superior Plumbing. In a perfect world, when you have a plumbing issue, you want a plumber that answers the phone when you call, shows up on time, respects your home, and tells you exactly what needs to be done, quotes you a price, and does the job right the first time. They appreciate your business, and Superior Plumbing becomes your plumber for life. Call Superior Plumbing to come fix your plumbing issues.
To Superior, the honest one, call 770-422-PLUM.
It's happening, guys. Your hair's thinning, the crown's disappearing. Hair loss might have you feeling you've lost your identity. It's Mark Arum here. Thankfully, there's Advanced Hair Simple One-Day Treatment. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's your own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. I've seen Advanced Hair's incredible results with my own eyes. Get your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's news and talk.
The federal judge has also now just dismissed the lawsuit against the Attorney General of New York, Tish James. If you're just tuning in, it's breaking news. A federal judge has dismissed the charges against former FBI Director James Comey and now against New York State Attorney General Tish James. Without prejudice is key. Without prejudice is a legal term that means a case can be refiled. If the court is prejudiced against the case, it means it cannot be refiled. So by saying it's dismissed without prejudice, it allows the cases to be refiled. Now, the basis for throwing out the cases is that Lindsay Halligan, who was purported to be the interim U.S. attorney, has been ruled an invalid appointment. Why? So there is a federal law in place that says the president appoints someone to be U.S. attorney. That person can serve, and there can be an acting U.S. attorney while someone's confirmation is going through, but that acting U.S. attorney expires after a certain number of days. And if the president has not appointed a new person to be acting attorney general or acting U.S. attorney by the time that role expires, then the U.S. District Court for that district does. So this is the Eastern District of Virginia, and he appointed someone to be U.S. attorney there. That person's time was up. He had not appointed a second person, and then said, wait, it's Lindsay Halligan. It's Lindsay Halligan. She's going to be it. And this judge is saying, no, you didn't do it by the time you were supposed to do it, so the U.S. Federal judge gets to do it. And sorry, Charlie. That's the basis for the dismissal of these two lawsuits. And I got to tell you, one of the things I've been impressed with the Trump administration is how quickly they have been able to move on a number of issues legislatively, with executive orders, things like that, but also how screwed up a lot of the confirmation process has been. And you can't just blame the slow pace of the Senate, because the Democrats have always had tools. The minority party always has tools to be obstacles to confirmations, but they just kind of bungled a number of these U.S. attorney appointments, expecting cakewalks where there weren't, in a large part because people around the president convinced the president to put in allies who weren't very competent, and the U.S. Senate Republicans balked at those appointments. That's ultimately what has happened here, is a lot of these people were not good enough to get confirmed by U.S. Senate Republicans, let alone the Democrats. And so the whole situation got dragged out, and now we are where we are, where these two cases the president wanted, have been thrown out by a federal judge because he ruled that the interim U.S. attorney was not actually the interim U.S. attorney. All right, we got to move on. But first, let me tell you about Americans for Prosperity. They are pushing for common sense conservative solutions around the country in all 50 states, and they'd love to have you on board. They can keep you really informed about what's going on down to your local level. They push things like the REINS Act in states, which would rein in state bureaucracies. They push school choice in states. They help advance school choice propositions at the local level. They support the president's tax cuts. In fact, they were the largest grassroots group to mobilize to get the president's tax cuts passed. And they support things like permitting reform in Washington, D.C., boring things that actually make a lot of difference to our lives. They're common sense conservative reforms. They are around the country in every state. They'd love to get you involved, even if you want to stay informed. But if you want to knock on doors and get out the vote, you want to talk to your members of Congress or state legislatures, they teach you how to do it to make you very effective. So go to afpvolunteer.com today, afpvolunteer.com. Get involved with Americans for Prosperity. Start fighting for common sense conservative reforms across the nation with them. And let's get a better future for this country. afpvolunteer.com.
The news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
This might help, young man. This might cure what ails you.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
I run a stupid little radio show. I don't care. Have fun.
Eric Von Hessler. Today at 3.
Your friend, Eric Von Hessler, the Common Sense host.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. We do have breaking news this hour. A judge dismisses the cases against former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James after finding that prosecutor was illegally appointed. The judge saying this afternoon that the prosecutor who brought the charges at President Trump's urging was illegally appointed by the Justice Department. Your weather for today. Clouds rolling in this afternoon, but it's going to stay warm. Highs in the 70s, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. A fatal pedestrian accident today on Covington Highway. DeKalb County Police telling WSB that a woman was hit while she was in the road near South Indian Creek Drive just before 2 a.m. She died of her injuries. The driver stayed on the scene. This is an interesting story. 39 players on the Gainesville High School football team suspended today following a brawl during last Friday's playoff game at Brunswick. There was video of the incident. You can hear it there. Gainesville was winning 42-0 when the fight broke out. Jeremy Williams, the superintendent for Gainesville City Schools, saying that the team will still play its Class 5A quarterfinal game against top-ranked Hughes this Friday. Williams says, quote, while we typically do not condone this type of behavior, we will not sit back and watch our teammates be assaulted by ripping off helmets, punching and barreling over a helmetless player. The Georgia Community Action Association says ongoing funding and timing uncertainties are impacting how and when agencies across the state can fully provide funding assistance to low-income families.
As the temperatures go lower, the need for help paying utility bills rises. The Georgia Community Action Association says the government shutdown has put a pause on the programs in place to help out this time of year.
We are working on it. It is going to happen, but there may be some delays as it relates to the payment reaching their account.
Executive Director Consuelo Thompson says first priority will be helping seniors and the homebound. She asks for patience and understanding. Lisa Nicholas, 95.5 WSB.
Now to Washington this afternoon. It's starting to look a lot like Christmas at the White House. First Lady Melania Trump took delivery of the Blue Room Christmas tree, picked this year from Michigan. She met the horse-driven carriage with the tree in front of the residence. She called the tree beautiful. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow currently up 278 at 46,523. So the Dow's up more than 0.5%. NASDAQ's up more than 2.5%. And the S&P's also in positive territory, up more than 1.5%. It's 102.
The holidays are here, friends, so let my friends at Publix help you save money by shopping the buy one, get one deals every week. Hey, it's Mark Aaron back with you. BOGOs galore at your neighborhood Publix supermarkets. Check out the BOGO deals before you shop, by the way. Expert tip. You can find the weekly ad online at Publix.com or in the Publix app. My favorite experience at Publix are the BOGOs. Free item must be of equal or lesser value, of course. Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Sell your home with Mark Spain Real Estate and get the strongest cash offer in the industry. You'll save time, make the most money, and eliminate all the hassle. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been diagnosed with mesothelioma, call us now. $30 billion was set aside for meso victims, and in most cases, your claim is settled out of court without a jury trial. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams in the WSB 24-hour traffic center.
Got a big mess in Marietta, Sabrina. Rollover crash. An overturned trailer being hauled by a pickup truck is flipped over. 75 southbound, Highway 5, exit 267. Only a left lane open. Use Highway 41, Cobb Parkway. Northbound onlooker delays got you slow as well. Checking on a slow zone as well in Kennesaw. 575 northbound getting past Barrett Parkway, exit number 1. And 85 north still recovering, leaving 285 into Cobb County up toward Norcross due to the earlier trouble that's long gone up in Duluth. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Becoming mostly cloudy today, staying dry, high 72. Rain showers arrive early tomorrow morning with lows in the low 60s.
It is 69 degrees right now in Woodstock. Winder, you have 67 degrees. Here in Midtown Atlanta, we have 72 degrees on Peachtree Street. More news at 1:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
My fellow Americans, welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the nation. I hope your turkey is thawing in the refrigerator if it's frozen. You better get it there today. And if it's a giant turkey, things going to be a little dicey for you. Get your turkeys thawing, please. 877-973-7425 is the phone number should you wish to be on the program. As always, text ERIC, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, and you can get the show notes, the live stream, the podcast, everything you need to stay engaged with the program. We've got to talk about the growing congressional rebellion. When your side is in the majority of Congress and controls the White House, Democrats do this too. You oftentimes think that your members of Congress should just do the bidding of the president. Except that's not how our system is designed. Congress is a separate, independent branch of government. And you can posture, promote, bellyache, complain, and bully all you want. But if the president wants to get something through Congress, Congress gets a say. They don't have to do exactly what he wants to do. And for a time now, the Republicans in Congress have been doing what the president wanted. But the president, whether he is with you or not, is overall with the public increasingly unpopular. And he's unpopular in part because of cost of living and affordability issues. He is unpopular because his immediate advisors told him to do tariffs, which every economist on the left and right said would cause prices to go up. That's exactly what happened. And now he's shocked and doubling down on social media, insisting there's a foreign plot to influence the Supreme Court or some such to throw out the tariffs. I gather that he thinks that they're going to rule against him and he's trying to seed the ground with his supporters, but it doesn't matter at this point. The problem is members of Congress across the board, but on the Republican side I want to focus on, they're tired of the White House. Members of Congress who are Republicans are tired of being bullied by MAGA. Let's take Marjorie Taylor Greene for a moment. She's decided to get out of Congress. She's quitting early, won't even see out her term. She sees no future for her in Congress. She was already bored of being in Congress. It was obvious to everyone who knew her and was in her orbit that she was looking beyond Congress, and she's decided to go. The president took a punch at Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she's a bully. She can punch, but she can't take a punch. She's willing to make claims about she can out deadlift you, and she's more fit than you, and she goes to CrossFit. But the moment someone above her weight punched her, she's like, I'm a victim. I'm a girl. How dare you hit me? I quit. She's a bully. The problem is a lot of MAGA has bullied members of Congress for some time, and those members of Congress can see the writing on the wall now. There was a glimmer of hope that they could hold off a Democratic wave in November. After the elections of this off year election, Republicans in Congress have decided they're doomed. And they don't want to put up with White House bullying and MAGA bullying if they're going to lose. Some of them are threatening to resign early. Jake Sherman runs Punch Bowl News. Good guy. Let me read to you an excerpt from a senior House Republican. This entire White House team has treated all members like garbage, all of them. And Mike Johnson has let it happen because he wanted it to happen. This is the sentiment of nearly all appropriators, authorizers, hawks, doves, rank, file. The arrogance of this White House team is off-putting to members who are run roughshod and threatened. They don't even allow little wins like announcing small grants or even responding from agencies. Not even the high profile. The regular rank and file random members are more upset than ever. Members know they are going into the minority after the midterms. More explosive resignations are coming. It's a tinderbox. Morale has never been lower. Mike Johnson will be stripped of his gavel, and they will lose the majority before the term is out. That's from a senior House Republican saying other members of the House Republicans beyond Marjorie Taylor Greene are ready to go. They are ready to sabotage President Trump's agenda because they're tired of being treated as if they're there to execute his will. And let me tell you something. Some of you listening to me right now believe that that's what they are there for. Their sole job is to execute the president's agenda. They're not. That's not the way our system was designed, and you are operating under a system that does not exist, and these members of Congress are fed up about it, and they are willing to sabotage your agenda solely because they're tired of being bullied all the time. Steve Bannon has likened Congress to the Duma, the Russian assembly, that's just ceremonial, that they're just to function. They're to give Vladimir Putin what he wants. Steve Bannon and others in MAGA have pushed the idea that that's what Congress is for. Congress is there just to give Donald Trump what he wants, except that's not Congress. Article 1 of the United States Constitution puts Congress ahead of the president. Congress is, if it chooses to be, more powerful than the president. And a lot of Republican members of Congress are willing to quit and allow the Democrats to be in charge because they are so fed up with the behavior of James Blair and others in the White House. You have never heard of James Blair. James Blair works in the White House. He is a political advisor, the deputy chief of staff of legislative affairs for the White House, and the members of Congress hate his guts. They also hate, what's the guy's name? Hang on a second. James Braid. James Braid worked for J.D. Vance. He understands Congress a little bit more, but James Braid is also a White House Office of Legislative Affairs, and they really don't like him either. They simply don't like Blair. They don't like the Jameses, Blair or Braid. They don't like the people who work with the Jameses. They don't like dealing with this White House. They don't like that when they call an agency and want answers, the agency treats them as if they're second-class citizens. They don't like the fact that they can't get this White House to give grants for little bitty things in little bitty towns across America that they can send out press releases for and get the credit. The president wants all of the credit and none of the blame. His staff expect Congress to bend over backwards to the president, and they're fed up. They think this White House has not mitigated problems but made them worse, and yet they won't stand up to the man. They won't stand up on tariffs. They won't stand up on this. Don't be mad at me for telling you what's going on. This isn't me because I hate Donald Trump or something like that. This is me explaining to you that members of Congress on the Republican side are furious with their treatment from the White House. They're furious with being told what they must do. And I saw someone earlier on social media say, well, Erickson, if they're that upset, why don't they legislate? That's part of the problem. Members of Congress on the Republican side want something called an open process. It's what they had. John Thune has brought back to the Senate, and they don't have it in the House. And they're mad at Mike Johnson for this. And they're mad at Mike Johnson because they believe Mike Johnson is doing this for the president. A closed process is what they have. A closed process is where the congressional leadership writes the legislation working with the White House and tells the members, pass it. And they're tired of that. What the Republican members want is what you and I know as how Congress is supposed to work. A member drafts legislation, it goes into the hopper, it's assigned to a committee, the committee vets it, marks it up, they debate it, they amend it, they send it to the floor of the House, and people vote on it, and they send it to the Senate where the process gets worked over again. That's what they want. That's what they're supposed to have. They don't have that right now. What they have is a system where leadership writes the legislation and then tells the House members, pass it or else. And they're tired of it. Marjorie Taylor Greene will retire from Congress in 42 days. Part of her message is that everybody's abandoning the president's priorities, and they're falling into complacency, and they're failing to do anything with their razor-thin majority. But it's hard to do anything with a razor-thin majority. And they're not allowing the collaborative process to go through because, in part, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene can object and with a razor-thin majority sabotage the legislation. That's part of the frustration here is Marjorie Taylor Greene says they're squandering the majority and not getting the president's agenda done. But Marjorie Taylor Greene, if she didn't get her way on something, she could object and kill the legislation because the majority is so narrow. So you've got that level of frustration in the U.S. House of Representatives. It's on the Senate side as well. So the Department of Defense, still calling itself the Department of War, which is a performance act because Congress hasn't changed its name, has said they're going to investigate Mark Kelly. Mark Kelly had been a senior member of the military before he retired and ran for Congress. And they're threatening to bring him up to active duty again and court-martialing him for a stupid performance video where he claimed that members of the military didn't have to obey unlawful orders, which he's actually technically right in that. Senate Republicans were unhappy with Mark Kelly for doing that, thought it was a bad idea, thought it was dumb, but they're furious with the Department of Defense today for threatening a U.S. senator. And here's what you have to understand. Whether you like it or not, just understand reality. That's all I'm asking. Don't be mad at me for explaining reality to you. The president is never going to be on the ballot again, and these people can be. They would like to hang on to their seats, and they don't believe the president's team is doing what must be done to save their seats. In fact, they think he's making it worse. They will stay, and he will go. And if he won't help them, they're willing to go to scuttle the whole thing. Because whether you like it or not, it's not a parliamentary process. The majority doesn't just do what the leader of the majority wants. They get to participate in the process. They're really tired of being bullied by people who claim to be MAGA and demand they do what the president wants when they don't believe in some of the things the president wants to do. The Republicans in Congress do not, for example, want to extend subsidies for Obamacare. The president is now concocting a plan with Democrats to extend Obamacare subsidies for 2 years. He's going to have to pressure Republicans who have long wanted to kill Obamacare to extend those subsidies at a time Republicans care deeply about the national debt and are doing nothing to cut the deficit, let alone the debt. And at the end of the day, the president has 3 years left. And at the end of the day, after the midterm elections, less than a year from now, If the Democrats take back the House of Representatives, it's game over for the president's entire agenda. And so these Republicans would love to get things done, but not in a my way or the highway situation. And they feel like they've been told my way or the highway so long, they're willing to take the highway out of Washington, D.C. So I will tell you, it may make you mad. You may hate these members of Congress, but you love your member of Congress. People hate Congress, but they always reelect their member of Congress. And it is your member of Congress who privately feels this way. And so if you're that upset, and if you are furious, you should tell the White House, play better with Congress. You should tell the White House, stop taking Congress for granted. It is a separate branch of government. It operates independently, and it wishes to be treated as such. And as much as you may not like that, that's reality. And you can't live anywhere except reality. And if you try, reality will be cruel. And that cruel reality is about to come as Hakeem Jeffries is on the verge of being Speaker of the House before the election even happens, because enough Republican House members are ready to quit because they're tired of the White House and MAGA bullies beating them over the head, demanding acquiescence oftentimes when they think something's a bad idea, and they're just about fed up with it.
Those who love him, listen to find out what he's going to say next. Those who disagree with him, also listen to see what he's going to say next. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
121 Cool Ray Carrier Traffic Center. Travel advisory continues between Kennesaw and Marietta. Overturned truck crash, 75 South, Highway 5, exit 267. Only one left lane is open. You're jammed up back to Chastain Road. Use Highway 41 Cobb Parkway as an alternate. It's also causing 75 northbound onlooker delays. Traffic brought to you by Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Learn more about their support of Common Threads and nutrition education at anthem.com/dream. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is the trade name of Blue Cross Blue Shield Healthcare Plan of Georgia, Inc. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This holiday could be 100 times brighter just by listening to 95.5 WSB.
Because we have the WSB Turkey Day Payday.
Listen to 95.5 WSB all Thanksgiving Day, every hour, 9 a.m. through 6 p.m. You could win a $100 Publix gift card.
Listen for the keyword each hour.
You'll have until the end of that hour to enter the keyword at WSBradio.com or on the WSB app. One lucky winner every hour gets a $100 Publix gift card.
The WSB Turkey Day Payday.
From Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Your first chance to win is Thanksgiving morning at 9 a.m. on 95.5 WSB.
It's my favorite time of year. I love spending time with family, enjoying delicious, nutritious food and bread. That's right, real bread, not the enriched stuff you see on the shelves. This is Sue from Bread Beckers in Woodstock with Sue's Healthy Minute. My family and I were blown away by the health benefits of making real bread from freshly milled whole grains. After more than 30 years in business, we have heard thousands of stories from satisfied customers who found improved health from eating real bread. We invite you to come check out the Bread Becker store in Woodstock this holiday season. We offer a complete line of grains, beans, sweeteners, and more. Our top-of-the-line kitchen equipment or infused oils and vinegars are sure to be the perfect gift for that special someone. Let us teach you how to make your own real bread to improve your family's health. Take that first step to a healthier life. Visit breadbeckers.com or our Bread Beckers store in Woodstock.
Hey guys, are you striking out in the bedroom? Because pills like Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra just don't work anymore. Here's how Choice Men's Health is solving PE and ED issues. Meet Dr. Katz, the expert in men's health.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Choice Men's Health offers safe, custom-blended medications designed to fit your needs. There is no pain or surgery. It doesn't matter how old you are or if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues. Not a problem. It's safe and affordable for everyone. You'll see results in 15 minutes guaranteed, or you don't pay anything. Solve the problem of ED and PE now.
For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are free. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170. to claim your initial consultation and first treatment for free. Call Choice Men's Health now, 404-400-1170.
For many of you, it's happening. Your hair's thinning, your crown's disappearing, and maybe hair loss has you feeling your identity is lost altogether. Well, I got good news. It's Advanced Hair's incredible yet simple one-day treatment that starts regrowing your own natural hair the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. It's Mark Arum back with you. We've all seen the pills and lotions that come with monthly subscriptions. They help retain what you have, but what about regrowing your hair permanently in specific areas? From Advanced Hair's state-of-the-art facilities to their world-class physicians, it's not maybe your hair will regrow. It's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. You decide how much, how thick, and where. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, and I've seen their results, friends. For your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts, call 470-660-HAIR. That's 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hello there. Welcome. It is Eric Harris. I got to tell you, there's a phenomenon. It always happens when I'm just explaining things to you. I'm not even really giving you my opinion. I'm just explaining this is what's happening and here is why it's happening. And people wish to yell at me that I'm wish casting or some such. I'm not. I can be realistic enough to separate myself from the conversations I have with members of Congress on a regular basis and explain to you what their thinking is. I'm not endorsing it. I'm just telling you so you're fully informed. I've got some guy from Tennessee yelling at me online that, do you really think this wouldn't fire up MAGA in the midterms? No, I think it would have depressed the heck out of the president's base if members of Congress who claim to be MAGA are so fed up with the president they say, screw it, I quit. And then Hakeem Jeffries becomes speaker and ties the president down in a bunch of investigations. That's not going to fire up the base to save the president in the midterms when these members of Congress who quit would say, well, we're quitting because they mishandled the situation for the White House. It just, I mean, there's a lot of wish casting happening, but it's not on this end, folks. All I can do is tell you what's happening. Whether you believe it or not is up to you. It's a wild thing to see. What's wilder, however, is Candace Owens. That chick has lost her mind. She's now claiming a group of French assassins and a Jew are being hired to come to the United States to assassinate her. I don't know if she's planning on offing herself and seeding a conspiracy theory to make it more dramatic than it is, but this is a woman who needs serious intervention. But I do think she's doing it for money, just like the Nigerian scam artists on Twitter do it for money. I think she is doing it for money. And the Indians, the Indonesians, the Filipinos, the Nigerians, and Candace Owens, all in it for the money. Seeding conspiracy theories. Let me tell you where reality exists. Hillsdale College teaches you about the real world, how it works and operates, and they do a great job of it. Go to ericforhillsdale.com today and sign up with Hillsdale College. You can take one of 40 different classes. They consist of 30-minute video lectures, depending on the class, depends on the number of them, but they give you actual facts. They give you truth and history. They give you background on C.S. Lewis or Shakespeare or the book of Genesis and the Bible, economics, chemistry, math, surely there is a topic you're interested in. There are 40 of them at Hillsdale College. You go sign up at Eric, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. You pick the class you want. You take it with Hillsdale. You learn from one of their finest faculty members. You do it at your own pace. You never pay a penny. You get a certificate of completion. And it's great stuff. Eric, E-R-I-C-K, ericforhillsdale.com. Sign up with Hillsdale College today. Improve your mind. Get smarter with Hillsdale College.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Ben Hill Renovation. We do have breaking news this afternoon. A federal judge delivering a blow to President Trump.
CBS News special report. A federal judge dismisses the criminal cases against former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James.
Comey was charged with giving false statements to Congress back in 2020 and obstruction of justice. He pleaded not guilty. James, who also pleaded not guilty, was charged with bank fraud and making false statements to a financial institution.
CBS's John Dickerson, the judge ruling that prosecutor Lindsay Halligan, who brought the charges at President Trump's urging, was illegally appointed. Here's CBS's Scott McFarland.
What the judge is saying here is that Lindsay Halligan is not in the position lawfully because there's a 4-month window in which you could have an acting U.S. attorney serving as top prosecutor. That window closed September 22nd. Therefore, Halligan is not to be the U.S. attorney unless judges choose her to be.
Again, a federal judge has thrown out the criminal cases against former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James. CBS News special report. I'm Vicki Barker.
All right, your weather for today. Clouds rolling in this afternoon, staying warm, highs in the 70s. We'll have Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast straight ahead. The University of Georgia football player arrested over the weekend is kicked off the team today. Coach Kirby Smart announcing that Nair Daniels has been dismissed. The offensive tackle was arrested on 13 charges, including 3 felonies, after fleeing from police in Jackson County. Daniels' mother also arrested. Daniels was a redshirt freshman who had appeared in only 3 games this season. A new study finds a dramatic shift in childhood activities. Researchers in Australia say social media use has exploded over the past 4 years for those aged 11 through 14, jumping from 26% to 85% now. The number of children who say that they never read for fun jumped from 10% to 50%. Participation in art and music programs also plummeting. The study suggests restricting social media platforms for kids under the age of 16. It's 1:32.
You know, every year there's that one house on the street that looks amazing. Well, this year it is mine. I'm Chris Chandler. Wise Guys Pro Wash keeps my home clean. Now they make it shine this holiday season. They install lights along my roof line so cleanly that even in daylight you barely notice them. Till I'm ready to plug them in, the whole house lights up then. Wise Guys Lights handles everything. Install, maintenance, and takedown. And right now, first-time customers who mention me, Chris Chandler, save $150 when installed. Spots are filling fast. Don't wait. Book now at wiseguyslights.com.
I'm Channel 2's Lori Wilson.
I'm Fred Blankenship. Channel 2 Action News this morning is the best place to be for breaking news.
So much is happening, and we're on it. Our reporters are the first to know in your community, bringing you fresh information, the best video.
We know you depend on us. It's why we're everywhere live to prepare you for the day ahead.
In the morning, see what's new.
Don't miss a day. Join us. Channel 2 Action News this morning, 4:30 to 7.
Hey, it's Eric Erickson here. You've heard me talk about David Nicholas and the team at Nicholas Wealth Management, and I'll tell you what, I'm not just talking about them. I actually am a client. I've got an account with Nicholas Wealth Management. Look, retirement planning today isn't what it used to be. You got to deal with inflation, taxes, market volatility. You can't just hope things work out. You need a real plan. That's why I turned to David Nicholas. David's a weekly guest on Stuart Varney's show on Fox Business. He hosts a 1-hour show every week right here, Saturday at 6 p.m. He and his team focus on helping people get to what they call the sweet spot in retirement, where you have enough income to live comfortably, invest wisely, and enjoy the next chapter of life with confidence. Now, here's the thing. The earlier you start planning, I wish I knew this, the earlier you start planning, the better off you may be. So take the first step today. Call Nicholas Wealth Management. Schedule your free, no-obligation retirement analysis. You'll sit down with an advisor with a fiduciary duty who puts your interests first, reviews your goals, and helps you build a clear plan for retirement so you can focus on what matters most. Call 678-990-8500. That's 678-990-8500 or nicholaswealth.com. That's NICHOLAS wealth.com to schedule your free analysis today.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies. Eric Erickson is paid $450 a week for his testimonial. No endorsement of Nicholas Wealth Management from Fox or Stuart Varney is stated or implied.
Live team coverage of traffic and weather, Alex Williams.
Travel advisory still in Marietta. Crash cleanup, only a left lane getting by. 75 north, Highway 5 exit 267. Jammed up back to Wade Green Road, also causing northbound onlooker delays from Delk Road. Use Highway 41 Cobb Parkway as an alternate. The express lanes are now pointed at northbound. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. Partly to mostly cloudy this afternoon, staying warm, high 72. Widespread rain showers roll in early tomorrow morning. Some may be heavy at times, and then thunderstorms through the afternoon, high 73. Drying out and cooling down on Wednesday with highs in the mid-60s.
We'll have more news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Hello, America. It is Eric Erickson here, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, delighted to have you with me. Let me go to the phones. Hakeem, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. Hey, how you doing?
Great. What's going on?
We just been through 4 years of the Democrats caught whatever the president say, took everything they said and shut it down Republican throat. Now the Republicans seem to get a little bit bullied and they want to just run. They can't just stand back up and just say this is what we want and push some agendas through. But I don't see this as being a win for nobody to begin to run and leave and sabotage, because once the King Jeffrey gets the gavel and the Democrats get back in power, it is over with.
Yep, you're absolutely right. I don't disagree with you at all. But I mean, that's how strained the relationships are with the House and Senate and the White House right now. And if anything, what the White House should do is process what they're hearing and respond to mitigate the situation. These guys they recognize they're probably going to lose. And why go through a nasty campaign, have their families go through a nasty campaign, do all the fundraising and lose when they could leave early and they're not going to be bullied by the White House anymore? That's not making their lives easy and doesn't seem like they really want to win in November. That's their point, is this should be a wake-up call for the White House, is engage. Democrats always think Republicans are way more unified than the Democrats. Republicans always think the Democrats are way more unified than the Republicans. I tend to think that Democrats are a herd of socialists, and socialists are all about the collective, and they get together and they collectivize. Republicans are more individual. It's I think what actually makes the Republicans stronger, but also harder for them to do big things in Congress, which most Republicans ideologically don't want to do big things in Congress. They want to restrain Congress. They want to restrain Washington. I just gotta say, I just think that the White House needs to process this information, and if their reaction is to go beat up the members of Congress and beat them into submission, instead of throwing them some bones and doing a carrot approach instead of a stick approach, they're going to lose a lot. I have a sneaking suspicion a lot of these guys aren't actually going to step aside early. But I do think a number of these guys won't run for re-election, and that could cost the Republicans. Some of these guys who could win will just decide it's not worth it. It's not worth dealing with another 2 years of this administration if they're not going to change. And by the way, if you're in the minority, you're on defense, and you're defending a lot of stuff you privately don't agree with. Why would you want to do that? So the Republicans are going to have to figure out, particularly in the White House, how they navigate this. And on top of that, they've got the other crazy fight they're dealing with. The New York Times has a story out. If you got my show notes, you text the word Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. You get my show notes. And my morning piece, I linked to this New York Times story. why Republicans are fighting about the Nazis. Tensions over right-wing anti-Semitism have burst to the forefront of Republican politics and show signs of becoming a fierce point of contention in the midterms and beyond. For years, Jewish Republicans often denied that the right had a serious problem with anti-Semitism, pointing instead to anti-Jewish bigotry on the left and celebrating President Trump's support for Israel. But now that problem is staring them directly in the face. Tensions over anti-Semitism in the party, free speech, and Israel have burst to the forefront of Republican politics and show signs of becoming a fierce point of contention in 2026 primary races and beyond. The furor has reached the highest levels of government, with President Trump this past week defending Tucker Carlson for conducting a friendly interview with white nationalist Nick Fuentes, who expressed admiration for Hitler and Stalin. Some Republicans are now finding themselves in the extraordinary position of clarifying what long seemed obvious: Nazis are evil. It's something that we all should know, but the fact of the matter is it has to be said, said Representative Dave Kustoff of Tennessee, explaining why he felt the need to denounce Nazis and anti-Semitism at a recent gathering of the Republican Jewish Coalition. He was joined there by Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, who declared, "I'm in the Hitler sucks wing of the Republican Party." And even Laura Loomer, the far-right activist who is Jewish, has argued on social media that the GOP has a Nazi problem. As the fallout from Mr. Carlson's interview has consumed the right, some Republicans, including Speaker Mike Johnson, have condemned the amplification of anti-Semitic views. And to Jewish Republicans like Mr. Kustoff, Mr. Trump's strong military support for Israel has cemented their backing, regardless of how he approaches people like Fuentes and Carlson. Mr. Trump has also pushed far-reaching campus crackdowns in the name of combating anti-Semitism, an approach some conservative Jews have welcomed. Republicans have aggressively courted Jewish voters alienated by the left and appeared to make some gains in the 2024 election. But there's a growing divide in the party over American support for Israel and how to address anti-Semitism. The key paragraph, and by the way, this goes on for a while, the key paragraph is this: Republicans have aggressively courted Jewish voters alienated by the left. You see, what the Times doesn't really bring up in this piece is that the right is having this conversation. The Republican Party is responding to the incursion of the anti-Semitic virus into its political bloodstream. The antibodies of the right are fired up. On the left has succumbed to the virus. There is no story about the fight against Nazis and anti-Semitism in the Democratic Party and on the political left because they've embraced anti-Semitism. They have embraced it. They can point to being all funded by George Soros to say we're not anti-Semitic while they're funding anti-Semitism around the country on college campuses and abroad. In Congress, the Democratic Party has become increasingly hostile to Israel. In Congress, the loudest voices are all anti-Israel, whether it's Bernie Sanders or AOC or Rashida Tlaib or Ilhan Omar. They're all deeply, deeply antagonistic towards Israel. They have a couple of token Jewish members of Congress like Chuck Schumer and others who dance around the issue, but they attack him regularly. They're probably going to primary Chuck Schumer if he tries to run again. The left has succumbed to anti-Semitism, and the right is responding to the virus. Ted Cruz has become one of the most outspoken members of the United States Senate on this particular issue. Ted Cruz has been pushing back aggressively on it. Lindsey Graham has pushed back aggressively on it. Tom Cotton has pushed back aggressively on it. Time and time again, prominent voices on the right in and out of Congress are pushing back on anti-Semitism. Candace Owens has a traction online, following online, but it's mostly a clown show of followers. I think most of the people who pay attention to Candace Owens are actually watching her political self-immolation happen. It's just bizarre to watch her rant about the Jews all the time and tie everything to the Jews. Meanwhile, more and more people on the right are willing to speak up about it. And that's a good thing. And again, the New York Times has nothing about the left fighting anti-Semitism. The New York Times can run no story entitled "Why the Left Are Fighting About the Nazis." They can't do a story on why the left is standing against anti-Semitism, because it's not. It's actually encouraging to me to see the right stand up and fight back against voices that are coming in, many of them from the left, trying to, in some capacity, make it about anti-Semitism and defending anti-Semitism. It's wrong, and I am really encouraged by so many unified voices on the right stamping it out, putting it back on the ash heap of history. So many ideas are having to be revisited from the ash heap of history these days. This one definitely needs to be placed back on the ash heap of history. Now, I need to apologize to Charlie, because as I talk about this, I got to pivot to another idea that needs to be put back on the ash heap of history. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a cabinet secretary who has more likely than not paid for more abortions than all cabinet secretaries in American history combined, who is super pro-abortion, but because he's embraced hippie faith healing, has a part of the Christian right that has embraced him, has ordered the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention to change what it says about the links between vaccines and autism. There are no good links between vaccines and autism. There was one study that itself was debunked, and the man who pushed it was debunked, and I can't tell you the number of people who insist that it is so. There are doctors in America who will tell you that transgenderism is real, in the same way there are doctors who will tell you vaccines cause autism. It doesn't make any of them right. A lady this morning, as I pointed this out on my Substack piece, says, I don't know why anyone thinks science is settled. Science is never settled. Are we going to keep debating gravity? Are any one of you about to float off into outer space? Or can we say that gravity is settled science? Can we say gravity is settled science or not? What goes up must come down. Isn't that so? Is it not so? Things at rest tend to stay at rest until the force is applied to them. Do we have to debate inertia? Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a charlatan, a huckster, and a fraud who has for years blamed humanity for Earth's destruction. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is engaged in what appears to be a very successful charlatan campaign to convince humanity to extinguish itself through the embrace of pseudoscience. And I want to be very clear to you. And by the way, you're not getting on the program if you want to discuss this issue, because the people who have become deeply anti-vaccine are actually been misled and are pretty ignorant and in a cult, and I have no use for them, nor for their phone calls. And if that offends you, I'm sorry, but I'm telling you the truth, and it's a truth you don't like to hear about. You decide not to give your kids vaccines, you put your kids and everyone else at risk. And you have the luxury of not giving your children vaccines because this country is so highly vaccinated until the moment it's not. And we have apparently, as a society, decided to cross this Rubicon, being led by a huckster and a fraud who actually thinks there are too many people and we need to reduce the population anyway. And he's hit on a novel idea of embracing particularly the gullible essential oil crowd to advance his ideas. And a lot of people are going to be harmed. Are there questions about vaccines? Yes, there are questions about vaccines. Are there parents who have concerns about loading the number of vaccines they're loading into kids at one time? Yes. But there have been lots of studies, including from those who believe there might be a relationship between autism and vaccines, and they've all come away saying, no, there's not. That autism symptoms tend to present around the time of certain vaccines being given, but that you can't actually correlate the two. There's not a causation issue, there's a correlation issue, and the correlation issue is not enough to say that the one causes the other. But my God, you tell this, and there's a particular type of granola Christian mom who gets absolutely infuriated by it. I know more and more people who have stopped giving their kids vaccines because of people like Robert Kennedy. It is deeply destructive. to the health of your children and to this country, and you can hold your head high and claim that you have protected your child until your child gets very, very sick. And when more and more children get very, very sick and are left with scars from measles and the like, maybe we will reawaken to the idea that there are things that we don't have to deal with and worry about as a nation because we took preventative measures in the forms of vaccines. It's really easy for so many people to say, I'm not going to give my kid a vaccine because there are so many vaccinated kids. And it's really, really easy for people to say vaccines are bad and I don't get it and I don't understand the science. Even though I'm not a medical doctor, I read online. And they have the luxury of the belief because they've never had to deal with the fallout. The nation for a very long time has been well vaccinated. And when we're not, well, then you'll understand that the people who advocated the vaccines for your children weren't the bad guys. Let the listener understand.
When the truth seems hazy, Eric will clear the way. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
150, Coolray Carrier Traffic Center. A little better news in Marietta. That crash, 75 southbound, Highway 5, exit 267, just at the end of the on-ramp there. Now just the right lane is blocked. Still a rough ride on 75 south back from Wade Green Road. You're also still seeing some northbound onlooker delays through Marietta. You can always use Highway 41 to avoid that big southbound jam. Traffic is brought to you by ChumbaCasino.com. With over 100 online casino-style games, Chumba Casino is your destination for nonstop entertainment. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Avoid where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 21+. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
WSB's looking for a home for Hawaiian Roll. Chris Chandler here from Atlanta's Morning News. He's our dog of the month with Paws Atlanta. Named for his colors, 2-year-old mystery mix, very sweet and sociable. Meet Hawaiian Roll at WSBRadio.com/dog. Our sponsor, Finley Roofing, will pay the adoption fee to WSBRadio.com/dog. Well, I bet it is safe to say you are sick and tired of home services companies that don't show up on time, don't get it right, ghost you then when you need them later. Hey, it's Chris Chandler. I don't have to worry about any of that because I only trust TE Certified Electrical Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. TE Certified is a well-oiled machine with the highest level of communication and follow-up. They're on time, friendly, and fully stocked.
TE Certified, we love your home.
Hi, I'm Andy, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As a product development manager, I make sure every piece of fine jewelry at Shane Company is meticulously designed for quality. From 14-karat gold chains, pearl necklaces, diamond studs, and of course, dream engagement rings. We know you can get your holiday gifts anywhere these days, but knowing your loved one's gift was crafted by master jewelers? It's a difference everyone can see and feel, no matter the price. All of our fine jewelry begins with a vision by our in-house designers. Then, we ensure each piece meets our high-quality standards every step of the way, including the smallest details. It's why our jewelry comes with our all-inclusive, free lifetime warranty that covers everything and doesn't cost a dime. At Shane Company, there's no shortcuts, just craftsmanship. Because a friend wants your fine jewelry to be nothing short of perfect. Come see for yourself. Visit us in-store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
It's happening, guys. Your hair's thinning, the crown's disappearing. Hair loss might have you feeling you've lost your identity. It's Mark Arum here. Thankfully, there's Advanced Hair Simple One-Day Treatment. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's your own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. I've seen Advanced Hair's incredible results with my own eyes. Get your free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts. Call 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today. 404-208-3300. That's 404-208-3300.
Annuities, non-advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at trajanwealth.com.
All the news, weather, and traffic you need. 95.5 WSB.
Taking the complicated and making it simple. It's the Eric Erickson Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, rarely does my call screener pull a Bo Snerdley where I can hear him and you cannot hear him. But I must tell you that my call screener tells me that the anti-vaxxers have not only called, two of them actually wish to debate my point on gravity. Yes. Yes. No, what's that? Did they really? No. No, really. Apparently, one of the points of one of the callers is because we can't actually completely explain how gravity works. We cannot say it's settled science. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I don't exactly know how my iPhone works, but it's pretty settled science that when I put it in my hand and it's powered up, I can turn it on and use it. It is pretty... No, seriously, he did... Really? Yeah, apparently that was the point. Yes. Yes. The gentleman believes that because I cannot actually articulate how gravity works, I cannot say it's settled science that we have gravity. This man must probably smoke a pipe and float away, or at least he believes he floats away. I am gobsmacked by this. Wait. No. No, really. Oh, my God. Okay, no. Okay. Apparently the other caller said because people on the moon can jump higher than people on the earth, we cannot actually say that gravity is consistent. Therefore, there might actually be something we don't understand. Therefore, we cannot extrapolate that gravity is settled science because it operates differently on the moon than it does on planet Earth. No, are you? No, you're not making that. You're for real. Wow. So we got one guy who called and said that because we can't explain it, we can't say gravity is settled science, and another guy who called and said because you can jump higher on the moon than you can on planet Earth. And I'm surprised this guy even believes we landed on the moon. I bet you he doesn't actually, but this is his example. And he says because we can jump higher on the moon than we can on Earth, we can't say that gravity is consistent. Yes, we actually can because of the mass difference between the Earth and the moon. You idiot. I hope you're still listening so you know I believe you're an idiot. A dim-witted idiot who should go back to school. My gosh, this is what happens, Mr. Call Screener. I thank you very much for your time and diligence in this matter and apologize for putting you through that. Let's talk about Swiss America, people, because Swiss America would like to help you understand the secret war on cash. The secret war on cash is the government insisting you use plastic instead of cash or even crypto so that you can't anonymize your purchases. If you call or text Swiss America, my name, Eric, to 800-289-2646, they'll get you the Secret War on Cash report completely free. 800-289-2646. That's 800-289-2646, or go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric, SwissAmerica.com/ERICK. Let Swiss America help you. Message and data rates may apply.
When the news matters to you.
Massive project at 285 and Georgia 400 has been a big improvement.
95.5 WSB has you covered.
The latest incident comes when a SWAT team is called after a suspect.
Your 24/7 news
They
source.
had no ties to a gang.
When you need the story, all you need to do is listen. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's breaking news station.
Will my hair really grow back?
Will you stay with me tonight, Mommy?
By giving today, you can help our kids get the care and treatment they need. Give to Children's for that. Donate today at choa.org/give.
Sell your home with Mark Spain Real Estate and get the strongest cash offer in the industry. You'll save time, make the most money, and eliminate all the hassle. Don't worry about the inconveniences of selling your home. Mark Spain Real Estate's guaranteed offer makes selling stress-free. We've served over 72,000 satisfied clients, and we know what matters most: a quick sale and maximum profit. Find out what your guaranteed offer would be. There's no obligation. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
All the notifications you need.
This story developing in Marietta.
All the local and breaking news alerts you need.
We're following breaking news in Atlanta.
All in one place.
The 95.5 WSB app.
Download it today.
News.
Weather.
Traffic.
95.5 WSB. Atlanta's news and talk.
At 2 o'clock, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. Cases dismissed against James Comey and Letitia James.
CBS News special report. There's been a stunning development in the criminal cases against former FBI Director James Comey and New York's Attorney General Letitia James. A judge has ruled the interim U.S. attorney who secured the indictments was unlawfully appointed. CBS's Scott McFarland.
If she's not there lawfully, there's no second chair. There's no backup. Therefore, the cases are dismissed without prejudice as of today.
CBS's Weijia Jiang at the White House, where there's been no official reaction yet, but the president has made his feelings known.
You can imagine that it will be one of disappointment and frustration, since he has spent so much time claiming that the only reason that he himself was investigated by these two law enforcement officials was because of a witch hunt. That's according to Trump.
James issued a statement saying she's heartened in the face of what she called baseless charges. CBS News special report. I'm Cammie McCormick.
74 degrees in Atlanta. What's the timing for rain and potential thunderstorms? Meteorologist Christina Edwards has Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast coming up. 39 players on the Gainesville High School football team are suspended following a brawl during last Friday's playoff game at Brunswick. Gainesville was winning 42-0 when the fight broke out. Jeremy Williams, the superintendent for Gainesville City Schools, says the team still plans to play its Class 5A quarterfinal game against top-ranked Hughes this Friday, and the school is appealing the ruling by the Georgia High School Association. The University of Georgia football player arrested over the weekend has now kicked off the team. Coach Kirby Smart announces today Nair Daniels has been dismissed.
I have not had a chance to talk to him or his family. But obviously he'll no longer be with us.
The offensive tackle was arrested on 13 charges, including 3 felonies, after fleeing from police in Jackson County. Daniels' mother was also arrested. Daniels was a redshirt freshman who has appeared in only 3 games this season. Those who need help with energy bills this winter may not get it as soon as they thought. The Georgia Community Action Association says the government shutdown has put a pause on the programs in place to help out this time of year.
We are working on it. It is going to happen, but there may be some delays as it relates to the payment reaching their account.
Executive Director Consuelo Thompson says the first priority will be helping seniors and the homebound. It's now 2:02. This news sponsored by Brett Beckers. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
Some friends one time sent my wife and me Omaha steaks for Christmas, and they sent it to our old house. We had moved out of it and not yet sold it. Went to the house. I could smell the steak before I saw it. Didn't know who sent it to me. Called Omaha Steaks. Not only did they send me a brand new package to my house, they told me who had sent it to me so I could send a thank you note. It was incredible customer service. And I've been sending gifts from Omaha Steaks because how great their customer service is ever since. You can get the Sizzle All the Way sale right now, 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com, and you get an extra $35 off with promo code ERICK, E-R-I-C-K, at checkout. You can get incredible options. My wife began her love affair of caramel apple tartlets with that package Omaha Steaks sent to us. You can too. Get the fillets, get the New York strips, omahasteaks.com, 50% off right now, the Sizzle All the Way sale, $35 off extra with promo code ERICK at checkout, minimum order required, omahasteaks.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
I'm Channel 2's Lori Wilson.
I'm Fred Blankenship. Channel 2 Extra News this morning is the best place to be for breaking news.
So much is happening, and we're on it. Our reporters are the first to know in your community, bringing you fresh information, the best video.
We know you depend on us. It's why we're everywhere live to prepare you for the day ahead.
In the morning, see what's new.
Don't miss a day. Join us. Channel 2 Extra News this morning, 4:30 to 7.
It's 2:05, time for live team coverage of traffic and weather. In the 24-hour traffic center, it's Alex Williams.
Hey, Bill, good afternoon. Some good news as well. In Marietta, earlier rollover crash all cleared up. 75 southbound, Highway 5 exit 267, the Canton Road connector. Still slow, though, back up into Kennesaw. Those delays should start to take out. Avoid Highway 41 Cobb Parkway. That's become a mess as a result of that. Also, if you're traveling downtown, just tapping the brakes. 75-85 southbound from 17th Street down to I-20, and northbound about the same condition from University Avenue to Freedom Parkway. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Partly to mostly cloudy through this afternoon, staying warm, high 72. Widespread rain showers rolling through tomorrow morning with lows in the low 60s, and a line of thunderstorms for tomorrow afternoon, high 73. Drying out and cooling down Wednesday with highs in the mid-60s.
74 in Smyrna, 70 in Tucker, 75 in Stockbridge. More news at 2:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Greetings, conversationalists. Welcome. It is Eric Erickson here across the fruited plain. 877-973-7425. I kid you not, we had two gentlemen call our program to argue gravity is not settled science. I don't even know what to say about that. I really don't. Y'all, if you text the word Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777 and you click the first link, that's our show notes. And if you, there's a free option and a paid option. If you get the paid option, not only do you get, for example, we're going to be doing another Not Safe for Radio show, and you'll get advance purchase tickets before anybody else. Keep in mind, it's sold out in 6 hours the last time. So if you get the paid option, you will get advance purchase ahead of everybody else. But you also actually get the show notes that comes out when the show starts. And the show notes are everything that I talk about on the show and the stuff I don't have time to get to. And I wasn't sure I was going to have time to get this, but it's such nightmare fuel for me. I need to get it out or I'm going to obsess with it. So I was not going to start this hour with this topic, and I'm not going to spend an exhaustively long time talking about this topic, but I must talk about the topic to get it out of my head now so that I can sleep tonight. Because otherwise I'm not going to go to sleep because it's nightmare fuel, and I apologize in advance that I'm essentially taking what is the burden of my brain and placing it instead in your brain. A woman in Thailand was found alive in her coffin at a Buddhist temple, was saved from organ donation and cremation because her brother didn't have a death certificate. Wat Rak Prahong Tam, a Buddhist temple in the province of Nonthaburi on the outskirts of Bangkok, posted a video on his Facebook page showing a woman lying in a white coffin in the back of a pickup truck. She was slightly moving. her arms and head. Parat Shudthup, the temple's general and financial affairs manager, told the Associated Press the 65-year-old woman's brother drove her to the province to be cremated, and then they heard faint knocking coming from the coffin. I was a bit surprised, so I asked them to open the coffin, and everyone was startled. I saw her opening her eyes slightly and knocking on the side of the coffin. She must have been knocking for quite some time. The brother said she'd been bedridden for 2 years and became unresponsive and appeared to stop breathing 2 days ago. So got a coffin, drove her 300 miles because that's where she wanted her organs donated, drove her to Bangkok so they could take out her organs and cremate her body, and she was still alive. Alive. We had that New York Times expose earlier this year about how some hospitals are ignoring signs that people might actually still be alive when they decide to do organ donation. And one guy actually woke up on an operating table just as they were about to go in and start extracting organs. Y'all, this is nightmare fuel, and I'm sorry. I got to get it out of my head now, and I have to convey it to you guys. This woman, thank God she knocked on the coffin, or, I mean, I guess they wouldn't have cremated her before they took her organs, so they would have opened the coffin at some point to try to get her heart out. Okay. I'm sorry. I can move on now. These are the things you read when you subscribe to get the paid option to subscribe to the show notes. Nightmare fuel for you and your family. Maybe that's not the best way to sell the show notes, but I'm telling you. Nope. We got to move on. The President of the United States has postponed a health care plan. You know, there are days I don't really try to weave a theme through 3 hours of programming. I'm good, but I'm not that good. Today, though, is one of those days. The President of the United States has decided to put off for at least 2 weeks a plan to do a health care subsidy extending the Affordable Care Act. Now, why? Well, it turns out that the Republicans in Congress don't want it. Republicans in Congress are opposed to extending the Affordable Care Act subsidies. Now, I need somebody to take this clip of mine and just edit it very succinctly, like at this moment. To the President, Susie Wiles, and everyone else at the White House, I'm not sure who's advising you on members of Congress, but I live in Middle Georgia, and I could tell you that your plan to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies wouldn't fly with Republicans in the House and Senate. And I'm not sure if the president just decided he was going to do it, or if someone whispered in his ear and said, let's work on a plan. But the White House announced that it was going to do this plan, and it took Republicans in Congress by surprise, and now he's postponing it. And that's a bad look for the president and for the members of Congress. And it didn't have to get this way if whoever was advising the president about where members of Congress stand on stuff had recognized that you just can't make these guys do what you want to do. The president is famous for his art of the deal. But you got to know the parameters of the deal and who you're dealing with. And I could tell you just from my vantage point in Middle Georgia that the votes aren't there on the Republican side to extend the Affordable Care Act subsidies. And this makes the president look weak at a time he needs to appear strong. Now you can cut that there, and that gives me the transition to Mark Kelly. So Mark Kelly, as I mentioned the first hour, did the stupid video, and it's a stupid video, encouraging members of the military essentially to mutiny, to not follow unlawful orders. But Every order is vetted by a group of lawyers. We had actual experts on this who know what they're talking about call in on Friday to explain that when the order comes down to blow up the vote in the Caribbean, it is actually vetted by a bunch of lawyers. So if you decide yourself that it's an unlawful order, you're out over your skis because the orders aren't given unless lawyers clear it. And you're going to get court-martialed. And because you're doing it because members of Congress told you to do it, you're doing it on the advice of others to ignore a lawful order. Therefore, you're committing mutiny, and that's a death penalty crime. Mutiny is a death penalty crime. The attempt to commit mutiny is a death penalty crime. But the Department of Defense, now performing as the Department of War, has announced it's opening an investigation into Mark Kelly because the president is mad and the Defense Department, masquerading as the Department of War without congressional authorization to do so. This is their official statement. The Department of War, that is the Department of Defense, has received serious allegations of misconduct against Captain Mark Kelly, United States Navy retired, in accordance with the Uniform Code of Military Justice 10 U.S.C. 688 and other applicable regulations. A thorough review of these allegations has been initiated to determine further actions, which may include recall to active duty for court-martial proceedings or administrative measures. This matter will be handled in compliance with military law, ensuring due process and impartiality. Further official comments will be limited to preserve the integrity of the proceedings. The Department of War reminds all individuals that military retirees remain subject to the Uniform Code of Military Justice for applicable offenses, and federal laws such as 18 U.S.C. 2387 prohibit actions intended to interfere with the loyalty, morale, or good order and discipline of the armed forces. Any violation will be addressed through appropriate legal channels. All service members are reminded that they have a legal obligation under the Uniform Code of Military Justice to obey lawful orders and that orders are presumed to be lawful. A service member's personal philosophy does not justify or excuse the disobedience of an otherwise lawful order. I would like to congratulate Senator Mark Kelly of Virginia for now becoming the front runner for president of on the Democratic side in 2028. Because the Department of Defense could not help itself, it needs to do performance, it thinks, to be in Donald Trump's good graces. They have just turned Mark Kelly into a fundraising juggernaut for the Democrats. And by the way, you and I may not like him, but the American people don't know him, and he comes across as a reasonable guy, even while I think he's a progressive crank. So the kids who run the Department of Defense, masquerading as the Department of War, running their social media account, have just elevated a sitting United States senator into a massive fundraising juggernaut. And Mark Kelly will be able to help shape the Democratic Party. He understands, by the way, Mark Kelly does and has stated as such repeatedly, that the Democratic Party has moved very much further left than he is comfortable moving, even as he is on the left. And his blessing now on candidates is going to probably help get more reasonable candidates elected on the Democratic Party side, because who are you to defy a man that the Trump administration has decided to come after with the Uniform Code of Military Justice? This was a boneheaded decision by the Department of Defense to elevate Mark Kelly's stature. We could have had Gavin Newsom elevated. We could have. He was on the verge of elevating himself. We could have kept the attention of the Democrats on Gavin Newsom. Instead, because of this, we have moved Democrats' attention to a man who served in the United States military, honorably, by the way, and then married a woman who was the victim of a shooter, who in a political assassination attempt. This was just dumb. Y'all, I hope you understand this isn't a criticism of Donald Trump. Some of you get real sensitive to that. It is a criticism of the people around the president who are behaving like children at a time they need to be adults. The president's team did not need to let leak that the president was going to advance an extension of Obamacare subsidies without first talking to the Senate and House Republicans and make sure they were comfortable with it. Otherwise, it makes the president look weak, and now he looks weak. He's had to put it on pause for 2 weeks. The president's team does not need to elevate a guy like Mark Kelly into prime position within the Democratic Party and help him with fundraising because he's a more formidable a candidate just based on biography than a Gavin Newsom. And yet the kids running the ship of state right now have done both of these things, not just making the president look weak, but giving a guy who has an impressive background in the military a higher stature to be able to help shape the Democratic Party and raise millions and millions of dollars for his super PAC to give to other candidates. These were unforced errors. I don't know what's happening inside the White House right now. I don't know what's happening inside the executive branch, but these sorts of things are amateur things we saw in the first term. They're not supposed to happen in the second term. And by the way, just so you know, the major point I'm getting at here is while they're trying to win the war on Twitter on a daily basis, and that, by the way, is, I think, the diagnosis, they're trying to win the war on Twitter, there are 6 or 7 long-standing judicial vacancies in Texas without even being nominated. There are 9 outstanding district court judges in Alaska, Kansas, Louisiana, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, and Tennessee, and 6 or 7 in Texas. There are no nominees for those seats. So while the White House is trying to win Twitter fights, we've got 18 vacancies right now that are outstanding for federal district court judges for which no one has even been nominated yet. And good luck if the Democrats were to take back the Senate next year getting these things filled. Why are we dragging our feet on nominations and instead elevating the stature of certain Democrats? This is bizarre behavior. Can we not refocus people? Please refocus.
Follow Eric on X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Search EW Erickson.
221 Cool-Ray Carrier Traffic Center still on and off the break. 75 north and south between Kennesaw and Marietta due to earlier trouble spots. Crash Cobb Parkway northbound right at the ramp to 75 south. Right lane of Barrett Parkway northbound is blocked there. And 85 north on and off the brakes, leaving 285 into Cab up to Beaver Ruin and Norcross. Traffic brought to you by Callaway Resort and Gardens. Christmas at Callaway Resort is calling. Experience a spectacular light display at Fantasy and Lights now through January 4th. Get tickets today at CallawayGardens.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
In Atlanta, there is always something happening.
Tanker truck crashed into the median.
The Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
No traffic getting through in either direction.
Helping you on your commute.
Avoid the area at all costs. Take Highway 155 or Highway 4223.
Brought to you by the Cool-Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey, it's Eric Erickson here. You've heard me talk about David Nicholas and the team at Nicholas Wealth Management, and I'll tell you what, I'm not just talking about them. I actually am a client. I've got an account with Nicholas Wealth Management. Look, retirement planning today isn't what it used to be. You got to deal with inflation, taxes, market volatility. You can't just hope things work out. You need a real plan. That's why I turned to David Nicholas. David's a weekly guest on Stuart Varney's show on Fox Business. He hosts a 1-hour show every week right here, Saturday at 6 p.m. He and his team focus on helping people get to what they call the sweet spot in retirement, where you have enough income to live comfortably, invest wisely, and enjoy the next chapter of life with confidence. Now, here's the thing. The earlier you start planning, I wish I knew this, the earlier you start planning, the better off you may be. So take the first step today. Call Nicholas Wealth Management. Schedule your free, no obligation retirement analysis. You'll sit down with an advisor with a fiduciary duty who puts your interests first, reviews your goals, and helps you build a clear plan for retirement so you can focus on what matters most. Call 678-990-8500. That's 678-990-8500 or nicholaswealth.com. That's NICHOLAS wealth.com to schedule your free analysis today.
Nicholas Wealth is an independent financial services firm that uses a variety of different investment strategies. Eric Erickson is paid $450 a week for his testimonial. No endorsement of Nicholas Wealth Management from Fox or Stuart Varney is stated or implied. The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Woke radical liberals are screwing up this country, but Congressman Brian Jack is fighting back. He backed one big, beautiful tax cut for working families, ending Social Security taxes for nearly all seniors, and taxes on tips and overtime gone. So call Congressman Brian Jack at 202-225-5901 and thank him for backing working family tax cuts and putting America first. Paid for by American Prosperity Alliance.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 40-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term life insurance may only cost you about $100 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-352-9239. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance to buy $1 million of affordable term life for you. All you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-352-9239. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-352-9239. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life insurance, call 800-352-9239. 800-352-9239.
I'm here with Annette Marshall, my dear friend, Royal Marshall's widow. Annette has been an advocate for virtual imaging to get heart scans. Belinda here, and we've recently had an amazing success story that hit close to home.
For the past year or so, Royal's brother had experienced chest pains. He had gone to see other doctors and had plenty of tests run, but it wasn't until he finally got his scan at virtual imaging and it came back abnormal with a very high calcium score. He immediately went to see a cardiologist to get it treated and had the procedure to open up his arteries from being clogged. He was days away from having a massive heart attack.
So he knew something was wrong and he went to virtual imaging.
Absolutely.
Take the invitation from Virtual Imaging. It's free with few minimum requirements. VirtualImagingATL.com.
Virtual Imaging virtually saved my brother-in-law's life.
770-678-SCAN.
Your non-stop news source, 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Just joined us? No worries. Check out the Eric Erickson Show 24/7 stream at ericerickson.com. Available for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Somebody emailed me and said they think I said Mark Kelly's from Virginia. If I did, he's from Arizona. I'm sorry. He's married to Gabby Giffords, the former congresswoman from Arizona who was shot by Jared Lochner. And she has recovered, still deals with the effects of the shooting. But yeah, Mark Kelly was an astronaut and a member of the Navy and a ranking member in the Navy and then ran for the U.S. Senate on gun control and other issues. And yeah, the kids in the White House and the Department of Defense have just elevated that guy's stature by going after him in the way they have. And by the way, also in the Eastern District of Virginia, they got the indictment against James Comey and Tish James thrown out because of their bungling of the appointment of the U.S. attorney there. It's just wild to see amateur hour return. This White House has been so disciplined this entire time. We're what, 10 months in, really? Almost 11 months in. It was the end of January when he came in, and they've been firing on all cylinders, and now all of a sudden they've tripped, and it's like they can't get their footing. I'm sure they will get their footing back, but I don't know what's going on. There's this, by the way, push by some in MAGA land to blame it all on Susie Wiles, the White House Chief of Staff. I don't think that's it, but I do think she's going to have to get a handle on what's going on because it is kind of amateur hour over at the White House right now with a lot of the stuff they're pushing, and I just don't see them getting back on message. You got some really angry members of Congress about this White House right now. Now, I need to tell you about Vision Computers. If you call them at 404-COMPUTE today, there's time for you to get your holiday orders in. Your kid need a gaming PC. Someone you love need a new computer. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com. That's where you call them. They can build you a new computer, and you get their world-class customer service with it, where you get a special phone number that you can call anytime you have an issue. They can even take your existing computer, and they can roll everything over into the new computer, have it set up exactly like your old computer, as long as it's Windows 11 compliant, and you won't miss a beat. Everything will be the way you had it. All your macros, your settings, everything will be that way. They're really good. They can help anybody nationwide. Call them at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. In fact, tell them Eric sent you. You might save a little more money. And if you're a company and you need managed IT and your employees don't want to talk to the AI chatbot, they get real human beings with Vision Computers who can help them. They can even remote into their computers and take care of them on stuff. An impressive operation and great people. We've got one of their gaming PCs in our house, and they really are great with great customer service. Call them at 404-COMPUTE or go to visioncomputers.com. 404-COMPUTE or visioncomputers.com. When we come back, the president and Mamdani, they met on Friday afternoon at 3 after I was off air, but it was a very, very funny visit and outraged people across the political spectrum that Donald Trump and Mamdani were nice to each other. What did they expect? A boxing match at the White House? The reaction is worth talking about. It's kind of sad to see.
Tuesday on Atlanta's Morning News, we'll help you plan your Thanksgiving travels with our exclusive 5-day forecast and triple team traffic, and why Clark Howard says your next credit card may not have any numbers on it. I'm Chris Chandler. We start at 5 on WSB.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
At 2:30, I'm Bill Caiaccio with our top story. A federal judge dismisses the criminal indictments against New York Attorney General Letitia James and former FBI Director James Comey. CBS News Justice Department correspondent Scott McFarland explains why.
This ruling is that the prosecutor on the case, Lindsay Halligan, who 2 months ago was a Trump White House aide, was not lawfully in the position of U.S. attorney, and therefore the cases must collapse.
Comey was indicted for allegedly lying to Congress about the Trump-Russia investigation. James was indicted for mortgage fraud. The Justice Department is expected to appeal. The FBI discovers over 700 kilos of meth found in hidden shipments of blackberries in North Georgia. It was found after a search of a home on Custer Avenue in Hall County and outside a business on McKever Road. The two shipments are believed to have come into the United States from Mexico. 3 men are facing charges. Gainesville High School is appealing a GHSA ruling suspending 39 football players after a brawl during a state playoff game against Brunswick last Friday. Gainesville plays Hughes in a quarterfinal matchup this week. Home values in Metro Atlanta are way down. New analysis from Zillow shows 53% of U.S. homes have lost value over the past 12 months, the largest share since 2012. Rory O'Neill reports here in Metro Atlanta it is even worse.
In Atlanta, we're seeing that more than 70% of homes have actually decreased in value over the past year.
He says high prices and higher mortgage rates are to blame. It's now 2:32. This news sponsored by FGA Roofing. Up next, live team coverage of traffic and weather.
So you're losing your hair and you need a simple solution that works, but you want the best. It's Mark Aram here. Modern technology, top-rated physicians. You want something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair's completely redefined hair restoration, from the experience itself to the unmatched results they produce. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, address them all with a simple 1-day treatment in a calm, relaxed environment with experienced pros. Advanced Hair has performed tens of thousands of breakthrough advanced FUE treatments, and get this, your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day. No one else in Atlanta can offer the advanced FUE found at Advanced Hair. Fix your hair loss today, starting with your free consultation, and you'll also get $500 off if you move forward. Call 470-660-HAIR. Refine your hairline with the team that's redefined hair restoration. And don't forget to ask about that Advanced Hair Guarantee, 470-660-HAIR or advancedhair.com.
Hey guys, are you striking out in the bedroom? Because pills like Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra just don't work anymore. Here's how Choice Men's Health is solving PE and ED issues. Meet Dr. Katz, the expert in men's health.
Hi, I'm Dr. Katz, Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health.
Choice Men's Health offers safe, custom-blended medications designed to fit your needs. There is no pain or surgery. It doesn't matter how old you are or if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or prostate issues. Not a problem. It's safe and affordable for everyone. You'll see results in 15 minutes guaranteed, or you don't pay anything. Solve the problem of ED and PE now.
For a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are free. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170 to claim your initial consultation and first treatment for free. Call Choice Men's Health now, 404-400-1170.
Hi, I'm Andy, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As a product development manager, I make sure every piece of fine jewelry at Shane Company is meticulously designed for quality. From 14-karat gold chains, pearl necklaces, diamond studs, and of course, dream engagement rings. We ensure each piece meets our high-quality standards every step of the way, including the smallest details. Come see for yourself. Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
At 2:34, Alex Williams in the traffic center.
Looks like we got new trouble in Stockbridge, Bill. I think we got a center lane taken out here. 75 south below I-675, slowing you from Highway 138. Afternoon volume starting to pick up a tad bit through downtown on 75-85 south, starting in Midtown from 17th Street as you head down toward North Avenue. And 85 north out of the cab into Gwinnett, still seeing some brake lights from 285 up toward Beaver Ruin Road. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. Partly to mostly cloudy this afternoon, staying warm, high 72. Widespread rain showers roll in early tomorrow morning. Some may be heavy at times, and then thunderstorms through the afternoon, high 73. Drying out and cooling down on Wednesday with highs in the mid-60s.
72 in Vining, 73 in Norcross and East Point. More news at 3 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Bill Caiaccio, 95.5 WSB.
Hello, America. It is Eric Erickson. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, if you text the word Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777, you can get all the links to everything you need. I got to tell you, there are a lot of people who were very upset with the president having what appeared to be a buddy meeting between the president and Mayor-elect Mamdani of New York. I thought it was kind of funny and endearing to watch them. I thought it was great that the mayor of New York City went all the way to Washington, D.C. to check on one of his residents who lives in public housing, a senior citizen who's been forced into public housing, and the mayor of New York went to check on him. I thought it was very endearing.
President Trump, Stephen Nelson from the New York Post. I've got a question for you and then also one for Mayor-elect.
Sure.
For you, you referred to Mr. Mamdani as a communist. Can you describe why you feel that way? And also, will you do anything to stop him from arresting Prime Minister Netanyahu if he visits New York?
Well, we didn't discuss your second part of the question. And on your first part, I mean, he's got views that are a little out there, but who knows? I mean, we're going to see what works, or he's going to change also. We all change. I changed a lot. From when I first came to office. It's now quite a while ago. It's quite a while. My first term was great. We had the greatest economy in the history of our country. We're doing even better now. We're doing much better now than we did even the first term. And I can tell you some of my views have changed. And we had discussions on some things. I'm not going to discuss what they were, but that I feel very confident that he can do a very good job. I think he's going to be. I think he is going to surprise some conservative people, actually, and some very liberal people. He won't surprise them because they already like him.
And Mr. Mamdani.
Yeah, look, it was a humorous meeting. He had that exchange where Mamdani was asked if you still think Trump's a fascist dictator, and Trump's like, yeah, go ahead, tell him you agree, go ahead.
Go ahead.
There's this. You're a billionaire. You have a different address nowadays than you used to, but you used to call New York City home. Would you feel comfortable living in New York City under a Mamdani administration?
Yeah, I would. I really would, especially after the meeting. Absolutely.
What makes you comfortable?
We agree on a lot more than I would have thought. I think I want him to do a great job, and we'll help him do a great job. He may have different views, but in many ways, we were discussing when Bernie Sanders was out of the race, I picked up a lot of his votes, and people had no idea because he was strong on not getting ripped off in trade and lots of the things that I've practiced and been very successful on. Tariffs, a lot of things. Bernie Sanders and I agreed on much more than people thought. And when he was put out of the race, I think quite unfairly, if you want to know the truth, many of the Bernie Sanders voters voted for me.
He's actually telling the truth there. He did get the Bernie Bros crossover for him. So Mamdani was on Meet the Press this weekend and had this exchange with the host Kristen Welker over their meeting.
To be able to live there.
But did you expect it to be so chummy? What was going through your head when you were standing there?
I thought again and again about what it would mean for New Yorkers if we could establish a productive relationship that would focus on the issues that those New Yorkers stay up late at night thinking about. Because so often in our politics, we try and tell people what they should be worried about, what they should be concerned about. But when you actually ask New Yorkers and you listen to them, you hear it come back to the issues that animated not just the conversation the president and I had with the press after our meeting, but frankly in the meeting itself. It was a conversation where we spoke about the need to deliver on this agenda. And I appreciated that when we had that meeting, it wasn't just in the Oval Office. He also took me into the cabinet room. And there we were looking at portraits of presidents of years gone by. And we admired a portrait of FDR. And in many ways, when I think about the candidacy that we've put forward, it looks to Fiorello LaGuardia as the greatest mayor in New York City history. You can't tell the story of LaGuardia without telling the story of FDR and the story of a relationship with the federal government that finally delivered at the scale of the crisis it was facing.
Well, prior to your meeting, I don't have to tell you this, President Trump repeatedly threatened to cut off federal funding to New York.
And maybe he still will. Here's the thing. Did anyone really did you expect there to be like public, like a Zelensky meeting? I think there were some people who were hoping that it would be a Zelensky meeting where Zelensky had to sit there and take it. Mamdani would have become a bigger political star in the Democratic Party had Donald Trump done to him what he did to Zelensky at that meeting, because Mamdani would have given back as good as he was getting. It would have been a viral, explosive moment, and it would have helped both men tremendously with their crowds. So why give people that? Why give people the fight that they wanted when you can have this conciliatory buddy bromance sort of meeting? And I gotta say, it was an endearing meeting between the two guys. This is the exchange that I was thinking about. This is from Jackie Heinrich from Fox News.
I want to clarify, I think, your answer to Stephen Nelson. He asked about your comment calling the president a fascist, and your answer was, both President Trump and I have been clear about our positions and our views. Are you affirming that you think President Trump is a fascist?
I've spoken about...
That's okay. You can just say yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's easier. It's easier than explaining it. I don't mind.
He pats him on the shoulder. Yeah, look, it was a funny moment. But I was traveling Friday afternoon, headed up to this place called Barnsley Gardens. I had a team meeting with my team this weekend, and I get up there. This meeting has happened, and the conservatives are furious with the president for not giving him the business, for not doing to him what he did to Zelensky. How would that have helped? How would it have advanced anything other than elevating Mamdani? It's like the Mark Kelly situation with the Department of Defense today, saying essentially they're going to investigate him, the Uniform Code of Military Justice, and maybe bring him back to active duty to court-martialing. How does that help anyone other than Mark Kelly? It's going to turn him into a fundraising juggernaut. He's already, by the way, pushed out his fundraising today. How does it? How honestly, in all seriousness, how on earth does it help anyone other than Mark Kelly to do that? It elevates his stature among people without causing him harm, because Republican senators themselves will be outraged if this happens. And now you got the situation with Mamdani at the White House. Do you really believe that the president's just going to bend over backwards if this guy goes full commie in New York? If he tries to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu, do you really think that the president of the United States is not going to intervene? Do you really believe that? See, here's reality. There's political performance, and at the end of the day, there's political reality. And in political reality, things have to get done. And Mamdani is going to be allowed by the president to implement his agenda in large part because the president of the United States can't stop him. He doesn't have the power to stop Mamdani from trying to implement his agenda. And frankly, it's a good thing because, again, I want him to implement his agenda. I want Mamdani to get his agenda implemented, and I want New York to feel the effects of it because I know what's going to happen. And it's not going to be good for New York City. And then the president is going to be able to turn on Mamdani and say, you failed the city I love. And they can have the fight at that moment. They can have the fight or the failure policies. But the guy's not even elected yet. He's a smiling commie. He seems inoffensive to a lot of people. A lot of people don't actually believe what he says he believes. You know, Abby Phillips on CNN, on her stupid show on CNN, someone pointed out that Mamdani has called for the confiscation of private property. And Abby Phillips, no, he has not. He has not called for the confiscation. And they had the receipts, and everybody at CNN was stunned. Yet again, Abby Phillips tried to fact-check someone and fell flat and embarrassed herself with the fact-checking instead of taking as true the truth that someone said. Mamdani has called for confiscating private property. And by the way, you can't. It's actually well-settled constitutional law in this country. If you want to take someone's property, you got to pay them for it, fair market value. And they can tie you up in court for a very long time to assess that fair market value, even in New York. So he's not going to be able to do all of what he wants to do. He's not going to be able to make buses and the subway in New York free of charge because the state of New York is not going to drive up the corporate tax rate. He might be able to get rid of the gifted program in schools in New York City and deal with the parental outrage of it. He might be able to do that. But he might. Right now he can't because he hasn't been sworn in. So there was no need to help him elevate his stature by having a fight. And there was no need for the president to be disagreeable at the time. I saw a number of people joking. It was putting up a picture of Trump and Mamdani and said, this is a picture of a socialist from New York City. The joke, of course, being that either one of them could be the socialist. No, not really. There's one socialist and one president who I have some disagreements with, but don't really believe he's a socialist, though I think some of those around him have been pushing for some bad socialist-like policies like tariffs that he defends. But people just keep wanting to fight in politics. One of the lessons I learned as a political operative years ago when I was running races is there's no reason to elevate your opponent. There's no reason to help elevate the opposition. Now, occasionally you want to elevate the opposition if they're an idiot. You know, keep in mind, though, Hillary Clinton, it is well documented in 2015 and 2016, Hillary Clinton's campaign decided to help elevate Donald Trump because they were convinced he would be the easiest one to beat. And look what happened. You have to be careful doing that. You got to be careful doing that. There's no reason to do it. It's kind of a politics 101 thing. And yet, between Mark Kelly and they did it, the president has enough better sense than his team not to do it with Mamdani. You just treat him as the incoming mayor of New York. You're going to see him. But now there's a side note in all of this, too. I still don't think that we need to give New York the attention that it keeps getting. Why is the mayor of New York City on Meet the Press? Because they obsess with New York City, and I don't really care about New York City in the way some do. And I've gotten lectured, but when I've told people in the past I don't really care about this issue, but it's New York City, it's the capital of the world. No, there is no capital of the world. To the extent there's a capital of the world, it's Washington, D.C., not New York City. And I don't much care about Washington, D.C. these days. But New York City, it's just the media obsesses about it. The media obsesses about it because so much of the media lives there. The media has been able to give a pass to Chicago and San Francisco and their leftward drift. Now they're going to feel the effects of it with Mamdani there, and I think that's a good thing. I think they need to feel it. And I get people that, but most of these people, they live outside the city and they commute in. But still, they're going to feel it with the commuter tax. They're going to feel it with the income tax because they work in New York City. You know, when I filled in for Rush, I was limited in the number of times I could go to Rockefeller Center and do his show in a year, because if you earn more than $10,000 a year inside New York City, you had to pay taxes. These people, they're going to go into the city and they're going to feel the taxes, the local taxes that the Mamdani administration with the New York City Council imposes on them. They're going to feel the effects. They're going to see the homeless. They're going to be harassed by the homeless. They're going to see it when they go to restaurants in the city, when they're on their break. They're going to see it. They're going to feel it. And I think it's a good thing. I think it's really a good thing. But I also think it's not a thing that you or I, if we're not in New York City, really need to care that much about. But yet the media obsesses about it. And the president does because he's a New Yorker. He may live in Florida now, but he's a New Yorker. So he cares about it. I'm just not really sure why the rest of us have to. And I feel like I got to talk about it because it is actually a big story. It is a big story. It is big news. I just don't think it should be.
You're at the intersection of politics, news, culture, and current events. It's the Erick Erickson Show.
249 Coolray Carrier Traffic Center. Got this stall still in a center lane down in Stockbridge, 75 south below I-675. That's why the delays start back before Highway 138. Heads up in Marietta, stalled tractor trailer in the express lanes, the I-75 northbound express lanes right around South Marietta Parkway, exit 263, left lane of the express lanes blocked there. Traffic brought to you by BathFitter.com, the leader in bathroom innovation. Right now during BathFitter's Black Friday event, you can save up to $800 on your new bathroom. Visit BathFitter.com to get started today. That's BathFitter.com. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This holiday could be 100 times brighter just by listening to 95.5 WSB.
Because we have the WSB Turkey Day Payday.
Listen to 95.5 WSB all Thanksgiving Day, every hour, 9 a.m. through 6 p.m. You could win a $100 Publix gift card.
Listen for the keyword each hour.
You'll have until the end of that hour to enter the keyword at WSBradio.com or on the WSB app. One lucky winner every hour gets a $100 Publix gift card.
The WSB Turkey Day Payday.
From Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Your first chance to win is Thanksgiving morning at 9 a.m. on 95.5 WSB.
Remodeling your home's exterior requires expertise, experience, and attention to detail. That's what I built my business on. Hi, I'm Scott Nelson, owner of Nelson Exteriors. I'm the siding and windows expert you hear on the Home Fix-It Show, with decades of experience for all things exterior. Windows, siding, painting, roofing, decks, doors, and gutters, all with unmatched quality and craftsmanship. Even the small details are a big deal to us. Get your free estimate, Google Nelson Exteriors.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Hey, if you're bringing some friends over to tailgate this fall or cook out or having the family for Thanksgiving later, do what I've just done and call Wise Guys Pro Wash. They've gotten my house and driveway, my patio spotless, even the wooden gates out back. They even cleaned the roof. and I didn't even have to be there. The crew used the top equipment in the industry in their soft wash and kept my home safe and damage-free. You call them. First-time customers mention my name, Chris Chandler, and book now to get $70 off your first wash at wiseguysprowash.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, ETHOS, ethos.com/Mike.
The holiday season is always more jolly with Prize Picks. Every sport, every play, every stat matters just a little more. On Prize Picks, you simply pick 2 to 6 players, choose more or less, and watch your lineups light up like the holidays. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code ROAM and get a $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. That's code ROAM on Prize Picks to get a $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get $50 in bonus credit in lineups just for playing. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. You do have to be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Breaking news. Federal prosecutors say 2 Texans, Gavin Rivers Weisenberg, age 21, and Tanner Christopher Thomas, age 20, plotted to recruit homeless people as a mercenary army to seize Haiti's Gonave Island, kill the men, enslave the women and children, and allegedly planned to buy a sailboat and weapons for the attack. Now, with the names Gavin Rivers Weisenberg and Tanner for Christopher Thomas, it sounds like they should be playing lacrosse. And I guess they got bored or they didn't make the team, and so this is the next best thing. I mean, how is this a crime? How is it a crime to plot the overthrow of an island that's not in America? What exactly are the charges? I mean, when I was a kid, we used to do this stuff. I mean, who hasn't tried to recruit an army of homeless men to take over an island, kill the men, and enslave the women and children? And who among us? I know I should take this more seriously, but Gavin Rivers Weisenberg, age 21, and Tanner Christopher Thomas, age 20, sat around with zins in their mouth, smoking some weed, playing video games. They were on Call of Duty and said, hey, we could get daddy's money from the trust fund early and recruit some homeless guys with meth and maybe a little McDonald's, get them on daddy's sailboat, get Uncle Bob's guns, and we could take over an island, just like in the movies. And the other guy's like, bruh, we could totally do it. I can get some money from my mom's bank account, bruh. She's got traveler's checks in the console of her car, dude. Gavin Rivers Weisenberg and Tanner Christopher Thomas. Instead of going to lacrosse that day, they got on Call of Duty and plotted the takeover of an island. And now they're going to be charged with a federal crime. I'm sorry, the story's just acknowledge the story's absurd. A 20 and 21-year-old allegedly plotting to recruit homeless people as a mercenary army to seize an island off the coast of Haiti, kill the men, enslave the women and children, and they were going to buy a sailboat and weapons for the attack. Yeah, that was going to work. And they really do look like lacrosse bros. They look exactly like you. They're mug shots. One of them is like, why was I here? I was on Call of Duty rambling about this. It wasn't real. And the other one was like, I'm better than you. I mean, his mug shot really does look like, I am better than you, bro. Wow. This is what idle lax bros do when they have time on their hands. They plot the takeover of islands off the coast of Haiti. You know, I had some friends who they plotted opening a bank in Oklahoma. They actually did it, and they've actually helped people opening a bank in Oklahoma. It's now called Old Glory Bank. You can get a bank account with them. I've got a checking account and a savings account with them, and I very much enjoy my accounts with them. OldGloryBank.com/Eric. I've got a no-fee checking and no-fee savings account. Every once in a while, I forget about my savings account because I just put money in it and leave it alone, and it gets interest. I'm like, wow, I've saved some money. Usually, I'm the bad guy when it comes to saving money, but I save money. OldGloryBank.com. They make it easy. OldGloryBank.com/Eric. If you're a active duty military veteran, first responder, they will save you some money on fees. Their premium accounts. You're a business. They've got great business checking, business savings. They do business lending. They do home loans and CDs. They're a full functioning bank. And you can even deposit cash despite them being an online bank. They figure that out. OldGloryBank.com/Eric, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply.
He's the guy at the desk next to you.
We only want to be around people who think exactly like us.
He's your co-pilot for the ride home.
God forbid you actually converse about the world.
Eric Von Haessler.
Smash and conquer, my friend.
Eric Von Haessler.
Today at 3.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. WSB consumer expert Clark Howard.
There's a survey out that shows how much it costs to drive 100 miles in a gas engine vehicle and an electric. And it's no news if you look at the numbers over the years that it's less than half the cost per 100 miles to charge up an electric vehicle versus filling up a gas engine vehicle. But most people who drive a gas engine aren't interested in driving an electric. What can you do that gets you almost to the same point of much lower costs? Drive a hybrid, a real hybrid, not one that's a mild hybrid. If you buy and drive a hybrid, your costs for fueling up per 100